My friends, what do you think would happen if come November 1st, SNAP benefits, food stamps, run dry and no one receives any money? Speculation right now is that it would lead to food riots. Videos are popping up of people claiming they will begin looting stores instantly. One woman says they're not just going to loot stores. They're going to wait outside for you with your groceries, and they're going to steal your entire cart of groceries. The Trump administration is warning right now that by November 1st, there will be no SNAP benefits. And right now, if you type in the phrase, this is not a joke, is they into Google, the first recommended search term is, quote, is they cutting food stamps, end quote. I am not joking. I'm not trying to insult or be derisive. This is a fact. And there are concerns now that this could lead to food riots. 42 million people. Some are speculating that from this, Trump will invoke the Insurrection Act and move in and take control of certain jurisdictions. I don't know for sure. But let me just tell you, if 42 million people don't get food stamps, big box stores are going to lose billions of dollars. It is going to be an economic and political nuclear detonation. So for those that say nothing ever happens, they may still be right, because I cannot fathom a reality where the Trump administration could allow such a thing to happen. I mean, the political blowback, the economic implosion, it's not just going to affect people who receive welfare. We have created a whole sector of our economy predicated upon taking tax money from one group, sending it to another so that they can then buy from these stores and the money loops back around. What happens when 42 million people stop buying food all at once? It's going to be very, very interesting. Now, on top of that, we're hearing that air traffic controllers, they're about to miss a full paycheck. And there's already concern with the government shutdown where this goes. So I don't know. Maybe it gets that bad. On top of all of the weird economic stuff, some guy got arrested for putting a bounty out on Pam Bondi. There's a guy who attacked a TPUSA person with a hockey stick, and things are generally just still crazy. But let me tell you, this government shutdown, food stamp, SNAP benefit thing, oh boy, this is going to be big. We'll get to that and more. Before we get started, my friends, we got some great sponsors for you. We got Cove Pure. Man, my friends, Cove Pure. Do you trust the government to make the best choice for your health? Some of you probably do. I don't think you and I do. Same government that shut down the country during COVID? Nah. When it comes to my family's health, I make my own decisions. Over 70% of Americans are served by water systems that have fluoride added to the supply. Yes, fluoride. You know that stuff in toothpaste, which you spit out in the sink? Tell us again why the government wants people drinking this stuff. I'll also tell you a quick story. I had a friend who, his sister had a baby. This is a true story. And she bought fluoride water. Literally, it's water with added fluoride for her baby. And I asked her why. And she goes, it's for babies. We looked up online, and it said online, do not give your babies fluoride. And I was like, don't look at me. I'm not a doctor. You trust your doctor. But, you know, and then she questioned why the store was selling baby water with added fluoride in it. Very strange, if you ask me. Luckily, my friends, Cove Pure is certified to remove up to 99.9% of impurities using the same tech trusted by hospitals. And that includes fluoride. And that's really dang impressive, to be honest. All the other garbage you'd find as well. PFAs, fertilizer runoff, pharmaceuticals, you name it. You can choose any temperature, hot or cold, and how much you want dispensed, so you're not just guessing how much you drink. Cove Pure helps us stay hydrated. Check out covepure.com/Tim. For a limited time, you'll get a special discount of $200 off Cove Pure. That's COVEPURE.com/Tim, Tim. And, we got to get Luke in here so he can go off on the fluoride stuff, too, because that man knows what I'm talking about. We also have a big announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Go to boonieshq.com, go to the store, and holy smokes, a lot to talk about. First, the Boonies Declaration, uncancelable, be gay and don't be gay boards have just dropped $5. They are now cheaper and will remain on the site. 28th Amendment is also going to remain because the demand is absolutely insane. We're going to be discontinuing all of the old graphics. The prices have now dropped to $40, and when they're gone, they are gone forever. So go to boonieshq.com, buy them now. 28th Amendment, we're going to keep in rotation because chicken owners love this board. So I'm not kidding. We're backlogged of like nearly 100 boards. So I said, people really want it. We're going to keep it. But the big announcement is this. 3 new models have just launched. It's called the Primal Collection. There are 55 of these boards, no more. Now, here's the best part. You got Tim Pool, Jason Ellis, and Cody Mack Pro models, $55 each. Out of the 55 that we made, 5 of them are metallic gold serialized. You have around a 9% chance. We are not choosing who gets them. We just told the distributor to make 55 boards and make 5 of them golden, and the distributor is going to send them out when they're ordered in the order they're made, or however they do, I don't know, but they will be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 out of 5. And once this run is done, they are gone forever. We're going to try and roll out new graphics once a month in a similar fashion. This is the Primal Collection. We got a rooster, we got a wolf, and we got an eagle. Of course, I had to pick the rooster. And again, I think these are going to sell it instantly. We already sold like 9, I think, and they're going to be gone right away. We wanted to make gold collector's edition boards, and so this is how we're doing it. There's going to be an additional gold of each that are not for sale and will never be sold that we are going to have here mounted at the boonies. It will not have a serialization number, but an infinity symbol, so it's not part of that 1 out of 5. It's a special production model, but full disclosure for those, we want to make sure everything's transparent. So go to boonieshq.com, go to the store, get your boards now, because once they're gone, they're gone. Like Step on Snack and find out, $40 right now. When we run out of these, they're gone for good. We are, however, I just want to make sure this is clear, for Step on Snack, going to have a similar graphic later in the future that we're planning. So I just want to make sure we're being as transparent as we can with that. Don't forget to also smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more, we've got the Brick Suit.
Great to be back.
I put a "the" in front of it.
That's all right. You know, Mr. Wall, Brick Suit, it's all good. I answer
The
to
Brick
a lot.
Suit. Who are you? What do you do?
Well, I'm an accidental political activist kind of thing, and I'm, a huge supporter of President Trump. Huge supporter of border integrity for our country, because if your country does not have borders, you don't have a country. That's an evergreen issue, and that's something I'm always going to be focusing on.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Wall. Shane's here.
What's up? I am Shane Cashman, host of Inverter World Live. Tonight, I will be going live at 10 o'clock on Rumble and YouTube to talk about an open letter signed by 700 scientists and faith leaders saying that we are running out of time when it comes to super intelligent AI, and that we need to figure out a way to stop it from crushing humanity. It reminds me a lot of the Great Barrington Declaration that happened before the lockdowns. So we'll be talking about that.
Did you see that chart that showed AI content by year?
No.
And how it's 99.9% human. And then it's like, as time goes on, it gets to around like 2021 and it jumps up. And now we're at 50-50.
Yeah, I know
like
a lot of
dead
articles are more
internet.
AI.
Yep.
Oh, we're there. We're there. So we'll see you.
Tate's here.
What is going on, everyone? Tate Brown here, holding it down. I'm glad you're here because I am also a border enthusiast. I'm a deportation enthusiast. ICE love it all. So we'll get into it.
Excellent.
My name's Seamus Coughlin. I'm the creator of Freedom Tunes. I've produced over 600 animated videos over the course of the last 11 years. We've amassed 1 million subscribers and 290 million views, all with $0 spent on marketing, because we need to produce culture if we're gonna win the culture war. As it currently stands, the left owns entertainment media in this country, and we need to fight back. We need to create culture, and we need to compete with Hollywood, and that's why I've launched Twisted Plots. It's a TV-length animated show. It's going to be created by myself and my team. It's very highly entertaining. We've already got the pilot finished, which you can see if you go to twistedplots.com and donate. We launched 3 weeks ago. We've raised over 50% of our goal to be able to produce our first season, but we've only got 3 weeks left to produce the other half of our budget, to raise that other half. So I need you guys to go over to twistedplots.com and support us if you want to help us create the future of entertainment, and if you want that future to be right wing.
And if you see as I see and would seek as I seek, then go to twistedplans.com and contribute to the project today.
Twistedplots.com.
Twisted Plots. What did I say? Plans?
Twisted Plans.
All right, let's talk about the news. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got this is one of the biggest stories in the history of our country. This is one of the biggest stories of our generation. Trump admin warns 42 million Americans could lose food stamps as shutdown drags on. The USDA is warning that SNAP funds will run dry starting November 1st. And my reaction? Okay, anyway, you get the point. Now, I know there are a lot of people that do rely on this, so I'm only half kidding when I say I don't care. I love it. The Trump administration is warning millions of Americans could lose out on federal food benefits within days if Democrats do not accept Republicans' plan to end the government shutdown. The USDA said it does not have the ability to independently reshuffle funds into the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, commonly known as food stamps, according to a recent memo obtained by Fox News Digital. Due to congressional Democrats' refusal to pass a clean continuing resolution, approximately 42 million individuals will not receive their SNAP benefits come November 1st. This jeopardizes all SNAP recipients in November, including those that have applied for benefits in the last half of October and furloughed federal employees who will not receive their combined October-November benefits. And this is not a joke, my friends. If you go to google.com and type in the words "is they," the first thing that pops up is, quote, "is they cutting food stamps?" That a brick wall, Mr. Brickman or whatever, showed me that.
Suit.
Brick suit.
Mr. Brick.
Mr. Brick Suit Man. He showed me just before the show. He's like, "Look, this is legit," and I pulled it up, and it really is. And I guys, as part of me wants it to happen, because for too long, too many people in this country have just suckled off the teat of Uncle Sam. However, I do understand there are real Americans that desperately rely on this for legitimate reasons. So it's a rock and a hard place. I can't imagine Trump or anyone allows this to happen, because if 42 million people can't buy food all around the exact same time, you are going to see the margins of every major box store and grocery store drop significantly. It may only be a couple percentage points, but enough that these stores have stocked their shelves to compensate for welfare purchasers. If those people stop showing up, there will be a certain degree of waste and excess. These supermarkets will lose money. They will order less. They will say, okay, we got to throw this out. No matter what happens, there will be a surplus in the immediate, so they'll order less. The manufacturers, the distributors are going to start shipping less. It is going to be a snapback tsunami in the economy across the board, everywhere. I don't know how they let this happen.
And profit margins in the grocery sector are just phenomenally low. People
3%, 2%.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's an incredibly low margin business, because they can plan it that way, because you basically know people need to eat. They're going to buy this. It's going to be cyclical patterns of, like, food. Different food categories may happen at different times of the year, but you've got to keep buying food. You've got to keep buying the staples. And any interruption of that is going to just trickle back up, and it's going to be hard to get that engine started again. It's not like you can just stop the food economy on a dime and then 2 weeks later ramp up the production again.
When egg prices were crazy high at the end of last year, people were stealing storage containers or giant shipping containers of eggs out of Pennsylvania.
Well, oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so I just think hunger and desperation is going to lead to violence, rioting. It's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned grocery stores have low profit margins. It's true, they're razor thin. It's something like 3 cents of every dollar spent at the grocery store is actual profit for the company. They're very, very low margins. As you mentioned, they rely on the fact that people need to eat food. This is part of why government-run grocery stores don't work, because no bureaucrat is competent or concerned enough to account for 3% in waste. But that 3% is what allows for the grocery store to be possible. And so you're right, the price dynamic has been distorted over the past several decades by food stamps, essentially. And some people really do need them. But the important thing to remember is that a price is not just an incentive, it's information. It tells you what you should stock your store with. It tells you what people are reliably going to buy. We don't know how much of what's currently purchased is only purchased because of EBT. So it's really difficult for these stores to do any kind of economic calculation without that.
I want it to happen. Sorry. I mean,
Well,
look. I understand. Easy for me to say, I'm not going to go hungry. My family's not going to go wanting. And so that's where I'm torn on this, because there are real people out there that get these benefits because they need them. Real hardworking families that are struggling to make ends meet, maybe through no fault of their own. And this was the program was supposed to do. The problem is the program itself has become a cancer on our economic system. Yeah. And there are too many people who intentionally manipulate the system for free money out of the good, hardworking American's pocket. Yep. And so the issue is, in all things, cutting yourself off from the addiction is going to suck. It's going to hurt. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. Yeah. But continuing the improper medication or the addicting drug is only going to make it worse.
Yeah. Well, yeah, beyond that, like, well, for 42 million, that means 1 in 8 Americans is on SNAP benefits. That's ridiculous. Beyond that, like, this is the problem with welfare, broadly speaking, is that it's a feedback jammer, because it's like the signs that a society sends to itself, like these normal signs that a society uses to correct itself, get jammed with welfare, and you're not able to actually address these issues.
So, I'm curious, Seamus, do you think that for a lot of people that rely on benefits, they could turn to their churches?
It's a difficult question. I mean, I would hope so. It depends on the church and it depends on the area. I know that a number of food pantries have closed. I know that there was one at least that closed in 2020 near where I lived at the time. And the issue here with all of this is there are some number of people who really do need the assistance. I mean, I don't think anyone is denying that. There's some number of people who really do need food stamps. They're not going to be able to survive. They're not going to be able to pay for themselves. But in part, it's because the infrastructure has been built up. Like Tim asked the question, would churches be able to pay, feed them? Well, I don't know how prepared churches are relative to how prepared they need to be because this subsidy of food stamps has existed for so long. And I'm going to say it. I've known people on both
any
sides.
way that they could be ready. Not they can't be ready.
Not for this number of people. No. But in terms of people who like really genuinely need it, again, I've known a number of people who were receiving welfare benefits through the course of my life. Some people were people who I was like, this person 100% needs it. They have a disability. They're seriously poor. There's no way they're going to be able to provide for themselves. I've also known people who was like, you didn't need it. Like this guy didn't need it. So I think it's really important for our government to be more discerning about who gets it. Shutting the spigot off all at once, as everyone here's mentioned, can cause some serious problems. But something does have to happen.
I feel bad for the single parent households that don't abuse it. But obviously, this is a generational problem.
Yes.
They abuse it.
They shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that single parents, in some extreme fashion should be taken from their kids or whatever. I'm saying our society should not have created a mechanism by which single parent households can be easily, I don't want to say attain, that's not the right word, but
viable.
Where it's
viable.
Where it's easier to break a marriage up.
Exactly. It needed to be that it was an impossibility. No fault divorce has been a big problem. The welfare system, it has made it so that there are circumstances where instead of people getting married and having functioning families where they have their kids and they're watching their kids, they say, you know what? I'm unhappy, so instead of making it work for what is right, I'm going to use the court system, break it apart, and then get on welfare benefits for my kids.
Yeah, I'm talking about widows mostly, but I think the government has incentivized this situation with single parents. So they've married these people to the government, and now they need this.
It's a bell that can't be unrung.
I'm sorry, I got to read this. Ready to Rumble super chat. He said, cutting food stamps right before Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Bro, if this is why I'm like, dude, it's not going to happen. They're going to intervene somehow.
They've got a little bit of wiggle room in there. I'm not sure if this is true in every state, but some states, they don't all roll out all the benefits on the first. So it's on the first, if your card ends in a 1, your benefits load up. On the second, if it ends in a 2, it loads up. So there could be a little bit of some wiggle room in there. They don't have to do it all by the first, but if it goes any significant amount of time, it's not going to be good at all.
And we saw with the military paychecks that the private individuals are willing to foot the bill. And I mean, if it's true, it is true. A lot of these grocery stores run razor thin margins. You have to think the execs at Kroger, the execs at Walmart are having conversations right now of all right, how much money do we need to chuck at this to keep it going for another 2 weeks? Because the government, like you were saying, has distributed the cost of dysfunction onto the productive class. That's why we're having these conversations. Are these churches ready, or is the Salvation Army ready? It's
that's the way it used to be.
Yeah, but can I throw something out there? Well, this is another really important part of this dynamic, which is the way the food stamp program works in this country is that you're able to go buy the kinds of foods that everyone else is able to buy. I know RFK added some stipulations, which I think are good. Yeah, I totally support it. But when we talk about our church is going to be able to feed these people, now in the best case scenario, you could say maybe what's able to happen is these churches are able to get inexpensive foods like rice and beans, etc., and feed people who are genuinely starving. But the idea that the churches could ever be capable of supplying 10% of the country with all of the highly processed, more expensive foods that people have been consuming on food stamps, that's almost certainly impossible.
There's so many people. Right to Rumble said, Tim will cut your food stamps right before Christmas and thinks he's the good guy. LOL. Wow. Yep, I am. And what I find in these liberals is they're short-term thinkers. They don't plan ahead. They don't plan for winter. And the systems that have been built by these people have been gutting and destroying this country. And now we're at the rock and the hard place position where maybe we need to do it now to avoid a long fall later. I don't like the idea that people get this ripped out from underneath them, a rug pull at the last minute. But the idea that we have so many government systems that have been exploited and abused for decades from people who know they're exploiting and abusing the system, it's unsustainable. Every single day, the socialists say, we deserve more of what you work for. At some point, you can't take from someone who has nothing left. At a certain point, you take too much and people stop working. The system's unsustainable. Zoran Mamdani's in New York saying, and I love this, we're going to make the buses free and we're going to make the buses faster. And I got a question for you guys. Why are the buses slow in New York? Does anybody know?
Oh yeah, because they're weapons of mass destruction, and there's too many cars and people.
So hold on. He said the buses, we have the slowest buses in the country. So that kind of implies it's not an issue of traffic, right? Because traffic for traffic, he's saying the buses are slow. Why aren't they going faster?
I have
Could it be
idea.
some kind of, perhaps there's a limit on the bus of some sort?
Because of science, you mean?
Could there be a limit like on the speed of the bus relative to all vehicles in the city?
If anyone out there is
25 miles an hour?
driven in New York City, you know the buses don't go slow. I mean, you have to watch out for the buses. They're crazy.
It's the insane things these people say that mean nothing and make no sense. Buses can go 60 miles an hour. The reason why they don't in New York is because the speed limit is 25.
Yeah.
So he's like, we're going to make the buses faster, and everyone cheers. And he may as well say, Red Bull gives you wings.
You know what I think he means?
It's a meaningless statement.
What I think he means is he's going to try to limit cars more in the city to free up space.
I think what we're seeing here is, he did an interview and he goes, yes, I'm going to tax people more. He's like, because we deserve these programs. It will never stop. It will never stop. And when you do this, what happens is less and less people will work to put into a system, and they will seek to extract from it until eventually the people who produce the system say, I'm done and I'm leaving.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's been happening.
Anybody who can get out is going to want to get out. And I'm sure there are people who've already left because they're looking at it like, if it doesn't happen this time, it's going to happen at some time. So there's always a prime window for you to get out and maximize your gains. Everybody's trying to sell at once. That's going to be bad.
About 1 million people left New York City in the 70s when they were trying to climb out of bankruptcy and taxing everyone into oblivion.
Yep.
It'll happen again.
Let's jump to this tweet. We got this from American Papa Bear. Here's some food for thought. When EBT recipients no longer have free government money coming in as of November 1st, rather than them stealing from the store directly, someone thinks they're going to be waiting in the parking lot to steal from you as you go to your car. All I can say is try that in a small town. Stay strapped and stay vigilant out there, patriots. Listen to this. This woman makes actually a pretty good point.
And people are going to start, I'm telling you, this is going to be a thing. People are going to start, instead of stealing groceries from the stores, they're going to start watching people go to their cars. And they're going to take all of their groceries. And you know what the store going to do? Not our problem. Not our business.
And they're correct.
It's outside the store.
Not what's on their private property.
They didn't do it in the store. Yeah. It's not our property.
If it's their parking lot, it is.
Call 911. Yep. Call the authorities. Make a report. They're going to leave your ass for dead. And people are really going to...
I'm just going to... Why am I supposed to call the supermarket for help when someone's robbing me?
Well, also...
Wait. So a man's pointing a gun. Shop and save. Help. What?
Oh, man.
Let me play more. Sorry.
Stealing people carts of groceries out of the grocery parking lot. I'm telling you.
So I actually agree with her. And then we have this from Just Loki says, food stamps run out, riots, Insurrection Act. It can't be that easy. And they've got this tweet that says, we are out of Band-Aids and duct tape. Democrats, stop this madness. And then he has this post where he says, looming food riots, a communist insurgency in New York City, and patriotic WASP industrialists supporting the federal imposition of law and order. I can autism spiral about that for a while. This must be what 1905 felt like. I'm just going to say this. If 42 million people can't buy food all at the same time, it's not that our concern is everyone's insane. It's that a tiny percentage of this, I mean, let's say 1% of this cohort, 420,000 people start smashing up grocery stores and stealing stuff, robbing people in the parking lots. It's going to get absolutely insane. Really so bad. I said it before. I'll say it again. I cannot imagine a scenario where the Trump admin or even the Democrats allow this to happen. But here's the thing. If Trump is truly playing a game of chicken, saying Democrats can vote yes on our budget whenever they want, I don't see Trump backing down. Will Democrats?
Well, it's bad news for the elderly because they depended on being Walmart greeters for all these years, but they're about to replace them with like Navy SEAls. It's going to be like Mad Max. It was
going to be robots, but now it's SEALs.
Bringing out my Oreo cereal. I'm just getting jumped every time. It's like, yo, can we get a greeter over here?
It's going to be a Navy SEAL strapped next to a robot dog with a rifle on top, and he's going to say, "Greetings."
Yeah, he's gonna check your receipt and then just sprint out.
Dog's gonna follow you. You see that viral video from Burlington where they stop you at the front door and you take a picture of your body?
Wow.
You haven't seen this video?
No.
Oh, bro, I got to pull this up for you guys. Let me see if I can find out where this one is. I asked the crew to pull it up for me, and I think I have it.
I wouldn't be surprised if violence does start popping off places. You might see some stores and some companies decide it's not worth it to open up. And then you got a whole nother thing. I was like, why are you going to open up your doors for business if you're going to expose your employees and actually your entire store to those type of losses? They might just decide to keep the doors closed.
Well, yeah, this happens. Grocery stores go, there's a lot of crime in this area. Stuff gets stolen off, and we're not going to build a grocery store here. We're not going to open a new location here. And then lefties go, these are food deserts. It's like, all right, well, if you don't want food deserts, you need law and order.
Right.
David Dorn was asked to defend his friend's place from riots. And look what happened to David Dorn. I mean, this is, I worry about that being the next step if it goes like this.
And that was televisions, right? That was electronics.
Yeah, it's like a pawn shop. Yeah.
So, I mean, that was not Staples.
Right.
This is going to be a whole nother class of things.
Yep.
This is going to be a whole, look,
I
I would say this 40 million cohort of Americans, they're not preppers.
Yeah.
They don't have tubs of dehydrated food.
Right.
They're not ready for this. They're not.
And the
They
private
don't have an option.
And it's not hyperbole. Like, we have a great example in South Africa. Like, I was there recently, and you go to the grocery store, and the private sector does address these things. There is stopgaps in place, but what it is there's dudes like locked and loaded standing outside of the grocery store to like maintain law and order, and it's like, do we really want that in the United States? I mean, that's in South Africa. Like, do we really have to deal with that here? And it's like, well, it could very well.
I do feel terrible for the people that are living paycheck to paycheck, not abusing the system. And like Seamus was saying, I wish there was a way to discern, to get rid of these people on the program who are abusing it and have been abusing it for years.
Yeah, at every level. That's what I said earlier. It's just the government has distributed the cost of dysfunction onto the productive class, and they're not drilling down on the issue. I mean, like Tim mentioned it, like, fertility is being decoupled from productivity. Like, that's going to accelerate every bad sort of dysgenic drift that we're seeing.
Take a look at this video.
Then let them take a picture before you can enter into Burlington. Look at this shit.
So if you walk out in a different coat,
I know. I think you're being tracked the whole way when you walk through these stores. You guys have seen. You've seen what the Amazon stores are doing, where they've got 70 cameras in a tiny little 400 square foot space, filming you in every possible direction. And then one day they show up at your house, you get arrested.
Well, it's crazy because we have all the technological infrastructure that we were able to build up from having a relatively productive, high-trust society at one point, and even as society's become lower and lower trust, the snowball effect of that technological development has continued. But now we have a low-trust society, so all of these very high-tech tools that are great when you're in a society where people don't need to watch each other all the time because they're trying to rob and screw each other over are going to be able to be, they exist, and they're going to be put to use, again, spying on everyone all the time.
They will be deployed.
Yeah.
They already are.
Yeah,
but to a worse degree.
Just the little,
Are they going to rename the Patriot Act the Grocery Act?
They might have to. Because it's the little things that compound that just you don't notice when it's rolled out, but it just makes your life worse when it compounds. Like when you go to a Walgreens, you got to like wait for some employee to get deodorant. Like I was at Walmart recently got my basket. Look down, there's a security tag on the basket. I'm like, this is like probably a $2-3 basket. I'm like, what is going on? And it's the country just like sucks now, and it all just compounds, and then your life just gets worse and worse, and you don't even notice it getting worse.
Well, so let me ask you guys, just, how many of you want the benefits to just run dry instantly on November 1st?
I don't.
You don't want
I want them to be stripped down from people who abuse it, but I do feel bad for the families. I know there's no way to do it.
So considering there's no way to figure out who's abusing and who isn't, you're still okay with keeping it?
It's a hard one, dude. I think of all these people who live paycheck to paycheck, and people are suffering really bad.
You think keep it, Pricksuit?
Not having it run out cold turkey is just not a good situation. So if the government can find some way to fund it, creative financing, it's going to be cheaper to keep it funded than to initiate the cure if violence breaks out.
Which is why I'm pretty much on the same page, which is why we have to remember this is the Democrats' fault for keeping the government shut down by not making a deal.
So you guys think we have to keep it?
Well, I think like the USDA has some leverage now where they can actually start stripping off some of the excess. And
Sure, but
That's what I would want.
here's the question. Your option is keep it for all 42 million as normal, or shut it off. What do you pick?
No, because I trust that.
I think you have to.
Not keep permanently.
I didn't say
But
that.
You got to keep
just-
it.
we should
Because
get into that nuance after.
the option is right now.
Yes.
It's one or the other.
Right.
If they reopen government and fund it, it's going to stay exactly as it is with all of the abuse. And if they shut it down, everybody's cut off. I'm for cutoff.
Yeah, well, my thing is
This is why I'll never be in politics because I'm sorry. I will never be in politics because I have no problem saying your government has created a heroin addiction for your country. It is destroying you. And I know there are good people that will be negatively impacted by this, but we cannot continue to inject ourselves with an addictive drug that is burning us to the ground.
Are the
No,
politicians being paid still right
In that
now?
case, I'm in.
No.
I'm in.
Can we? Oh, they're not being paid.
They're not.
Well, can we rob the politicians? I'm kidding.
In that case, I'm more like in favor of methadone. Like I'm not in favor of
I
keeping the
agree.
addiction, but we can't
If-
go cold turkey and take the whole country just can't get off of these benefits in one fell swoop. It's
impossible.
Exactly.
Impossible.
Completely agree. Like you need to do some kind of analysis firstly to make sure that there isn't a head of household who has a bunch of illegals living with them. So the welfare is basically going to illegal immigrants. Like stuff
Dude,
like that has to be done immediately.
No, but brother, it's
negotiation.
so much worse than this. There are people who have babies intentionally to expand their benefits.
But you're going to start crashing,
And they sell these benefits.
You're going to start crashing the food producers, and then those jobs are going to disappear, and then that's going to be more strain on the system. So it'll just be a cascading effect.
you know what?
I don't think the economy is resilient enough to withstand a complete and total withdrawal of all the subsidy.
I do not believe there is a reality where what you were asking for, which is the correct answer, is possible. The methadone situation, where we say we're going to slowly start pulling back these benefits. No matter what we do, there will always be people who are deserving of it getting taken away from, and people who are manipulating it getting it when they don't need it.
Correct.
There will. I do not. In my lifetime, with everything I've seen, I don't see a political reality where you can stop these programs except in a way like this. Because no politician, no Republican would stand up and say, I'll take away your benefits from you. Not even Republicans can say it. In New York City, Curtis Sliwa, the Republican, said, don't deport the illegal aliens. That's what happens when you have these prolonged addictive systems. Because Sliwa knows, if I say we got to deport illegal immigrants, I won't get a single vote. That's what New York is right now. So we keep playing this game of we'll figure it out down the road. We'll figure it out. We never will. Where are we with Democrats? They're asking now for their fourth amnesty in 30 years. And we had Brian Shapiro on the show, and he says, I think it was Brian, amnesty. He says, we need to find a way for those that have been here for 20 years and are working to become citizens. I said, again?
False.
For the fourth
that's
time?
totally not
Well, but
true.
hold on. What's the difference? There's a guy who's been here for 20 years. He works a normal job. He's a good person. He doesn't get benefits. Why should we cut him off? Now, there's a moral argument of he's not a citizen, so there's a line for us. My argument is the same thing is true for this welfare system. It is being exploited by a lot of really bad people, and the system itself is a cancer on our country. I have no problem. I'm actually very much in favor of EBT benefits, SNAP benefits, and welfare for most people. But the way I've described it over and over again, imagine it like one day you got a cut on your arm. So you cleaned it off and put a Band-Aid on it and then forgot about it. A week later, it's starting to smell bad. So what do? You slapped another Band-Aid right on top.
Yep.
Starts to smell bad. What do? Another Band-Aid right on top. And now someone says, yes, but if you peel the Band-Aid off, it's going to pull all the necrotic flesh and it's injuring the arm. And you're like, but if you keep doing this, you will die. At some point, you've got to say, I'm sorry, but the system is broken. Now, look, again, I understand. I'm not in a position where I'm going to be one of these people who's cut off. But I'll tell you the truth. No politician's ever going to tell you the truth. They're never going to admit to you that this is a fast track to the collapse of your society. Your children will inherit a pile of ashes. No one will ever say it. They're going to tell you, don't worry, you're special, and I'll make sure you get your free stuff every effing time.
I think it's impossible to undo by design, too. They wanted everyone on this program to make their political enemies look bad when we were like, we should end this. When I talked earlier this year about how I was in favor of cutting sugar and soda from all this stuff, I mean, they were rioting in the comments. I mean, it's unbelievable. I think if you want to be a Maha, and support good health and give, people who are in poverty food and drink that are going to not kill you.
That was the whole
That's
thing.
okay.
That was the whole thing. Like people deserve choice to buy soda. I'm like, no, we're giving
not
you
with our money.
Exactly.
To poison
We're
you.
giving you money.
You can have
healthy food.
You can have tap water from your bathroom. The best, you know what the best water in the world is? Second
New York
place.
City.
No. Second place is.
Tap water's
It's
coming.
got
no.
microbiotic
You are wrong.
crazy things in it.
The second best water in the world is drinking the water straight from the bathroom sink, and the first best water in the world is right from the hose outside.
It's true.
Everybody knows.
I
that.
grew up on the hose.
Especially in the summer where it's nice and warm.
Don't clip that.
But that,
That weird metallic taste.
That demonstrates like how much special interest is behind Snap, because it's like they paid off a bunch of guys to just shill for soda on Twitter.
Sodagate.
Like with their full like government name on there. It's totally insane. But like with the binary you presented earlier, Tim, like I agree, like it would be nice to go cold turkey. But I'm just so worried about getting killed. I don't put it past Americans to kill me over a loaf of bread. And then we're going to get the situation where we're sending Instacart shoppers in, like Rainbow Six Siege, to like get in there and like scoop up to get it back to me. Like, it just sounds horrifying. But no, I totally agree. But yeah, like I was saying earlier too, is just ultimately Snap is just a bullet, or it's a Band-Aid on a bullet hole wound. It's like to address this rot. Yes, if they're going to withhold Snap going forward, this needs to be in combination with a lot of different attacks on these different vectors that have completely rotted out our society. And so if we're going to do it, we got to do it right. Otherwise, yeah, we're going to be getting killed over ho-hos or whatever. And,
I mean, I'm just going to say it again. Look, no politician's ever going to tell the truth because, you know, even with Donald Trump running for office, says no one's going to touch your Medicaid and Medicare because he knows the older generation is a huge voting bloc and he needs their vote. And it's a numbers game. This is the problem with, you know, I was talking about this earlier. I did a video for my Tim Pool, the Tim Pool Show channel. Subscribe if you haven't at youtube.com/Tim Pool and rumble.com/Tim Pool, and I explained why women shouldn't be in politics. Fair. And that is not to say individual women or even most women. It's only there's generalities and in demographics and averages. So I'm not literally. I'm kind of trying to be antagonistic when I say this. I actually have no problem with women in politics because while many people disparage women and say repeal the 19th, I don't agree with that. And when women weren't voting, we had a civil war and we had conflict and crisis, and women are voting, we have conflict and crisis. But the issue is that I brought up, what most people don't understand is that it's not an issue of the individual ever. It's an issue of large-scale demographics. So when you have the largest voting bloc being 70 plus, and they're heavily dependent on Medicare and Medicaid, if you say, for the betterment of this country and the younger generation, we have to stop this scheme that funnels money from young people to old people, you will lose every election ever.
Yeah. Well, if the only thing
never win.
If the only thing keeping a demographic alive is like coerced transfer of funds from the productive class, that demographic is gone, and everything else is just an accounting fiction.
Are you the only Gen Zer in here right now?
I'm a Zoomer.
That's right. I mean, even Serge is just a young. Oh no, wait. Yeah, you're young millennial, right?
Yeah, I'm young millennial. I'm 30.
Yep, that's right. You're just barely qualifying.
Barely.
I'm a
Barely.
pure
Actually, I
21st
think,
century
was
Zoomer.
95.
The boomer's trying to hide.
97. So get this.
What year were you born?
Here's what's going to happen.
Oh, 01. Oh, wow.
There's only 40 million Gen Alpha. The amount of wealth they're going to extract, I don't mean wealth as in you're wealthy, I'm saying your access to resources. The amount of wealth they will have to extract from Gen Alpha to pay for elderly boomers and Gen X is going to buckle the system.
People don't realize, well, this is something I really got to hit on because it's not necessarily a specific policy issue. It gets back to our entire understanding of how societies should run. We have moved so far away from any understanding of the principle of subsidiarity in this country and all across the Western world. We need to ensure that things are handled by the most.
Sing that over this?
Yeah, that was that was my theme music for my great epic speech.
Well, it wasn't a Vox video or something.
So things should be handled by the most local possible authority. Charity, for example, should be handled. How do you figure out who's an illegal or who's a person who's really struggling or who's a person who's just sucking resources out of the system? Well, if this is handled by communities, if this is a local phenomena, much easier to sort it out. Similarly, how do we care for people in their older age? Well, once again, if the retirement plan for the average person was what it was historically, which is to say you had children or you had nieces and nephews, someone in your family had children, or you joined a convent, but you secured your own retirement for yourself in some way, our birth rates probably would not have decreased at the level that they've decreased at.
Multi-generational households.
Or a multi-generational households, exactly, where your kids are taking care of you and your kids' kids. So the issue is, we moved away from that and we said, well, some number of old people don't have family to care for them. So now what we need is an entire system that defers the costs to everyone. But the issue with doing that is now your average individual doesn't have the same incentives to ensure they have a multi-generational household where their descendants will be taking care of them. So the birth rate declines and you end up in the position we're in now where a huge subsection of the population that makes life as it currently exists possible because they were such a large part of the workforce are about to retire, and they're about to take a bunch of benefits out of the system that the younger generation will literally not be able to pay for. It just won't be possible. You're going to have an awful collapse.
I think part of that has to deal with the shift of the population away from small towns into big cities. And there's like, if you ever drive across Kansas or you drive across Nebraska, there's something I've noticed. I do a lot of driving. You're basically going the speed limit and then you slow down because there's a town, and you come to a small town and there's a main street and there's a park and there's a grain elevator by the railroad tracks. And then 5 minutes later, you're out of the town, and then you drive another 15 minutes, and that pattern repeats itself because those towns are in an optimal size for people to be farming the area around it. You've got the community, you've got a bank, you've got your barber, you've got your doctor, and then it duplicates down the road. But in your town, you can't hide. You can't be the degenerate.
That's right.
Because social pressure keeps you in line. And that's where you're going to be at. And once people go to the big city, they can disappear into the woodwork, and that disappears.
Totally.
Let's jump to this story from the New York Times. Amazon plans to replace more than 500,000 jobs with robots. I'm excited for this because the end is nigh, my friends. Have you seen the video of the shipyards where all of the containers are being moved around by robots?
Yes.
I have seen that, yeah.
And that's what Amazon factories already are. The factories in China where there's no lights at all in them, they're just because the robots don't need light. They have like radar and LiDAR and stuff, so there's no actual lights. You walk in, it's pitch black, and the robots don't care. They're doing their thing. It's happening now. This story is crazy enough, but you combine these things, especially with the government screw-ups, collapse, the loss of SNAP benefits, whatever it's going to be. Look, I'll just put it this way. You guys, we talked about the LSAT numbers. You saw the LSAT numbers?
Going up, right?
32,000, whereas like last year it was 18.
Right.
Which
people staying in school because they perceive the job market as being disaster.
Particularly law, because it's a fake job made up by people to argue with people.
Amen.
Whereas, but it's true. I'm not trying to disparage lawyers.
I am.
A little bit, but when you go to school for for engineering, it's not an issue of staying in school. You're like, when I get out, I'm going to be an engineer in some kind of engineer. When you go to law, you're basically saying nothing is working in the economy, but the one thing that I can hope for is that I'll be able to argue with somebody and sue them, or
Until they're replaced by AI.
bro.
Listen, this is not career recommendation or anything, but just as I see it, law, medicine, and finance, those are the things that a layperson can't really understand, and it's very intimidating for them to navigate. So I can understand why someone might see that as, safe career paths, but you can't. I don't know if you can bank on anything anymore.
You'd be safer going into the trades. You'd be safer just quitting school and becoming a plumber.
I mean,
honestly, you'd be, at least in 2 years, you could be actually doing stuff, and those type of jobs are going to be the last ones taken away by robots.
I think.
But when is the last? What if that's only 10 years from now? We don't know.
No, I don't even think it's that. Look, if they allow the welfare benefits to end on the 1st, we are talking about a nuclear bomb on the economy and in politics. It cannot happen. If it happens, okay, I'm saying this. When they warn, maybe, hey, you may not get your benefits, that's a big difference. Because if, come the 1st, Trump goes, look, we found funds, we pulled it, the government's not opening, but we're fine. Then it's like, yeah, okay, it was a threat. But if actually 42 million people do not get money and they cannot buy food, I don't know how that is going to change the face of this nation. There are two things that drive electoral systems. Usually it's the economy, but only when things are safe. Security is next, but there is another indicator of revolution and civil war, and that is when food is hard to come by. And with the Arab Spring, one of the key indicators of massive revolution across the Arabic world in North Africa particularly was that food prices had become too high. It kicked off with, I believe, Mohamed Bouazizi was his name? He was a fruit cart salesman in Tunisia.
That's right.
And the police came and said, you can't sell fruit. And he goes, it's the only thing I can do to make money. They shut him down. So he went in front of like City Hall and immolated himself. And then everybody snapped because they were feeling the same pressures and the same heat. What's going to happen to this country when you have terrorism, a weak economy, high prices, and 42 million people who can't afford food?
Well, everything will turn out fine.
Trump can then invoke the Insurrection Act
right.
and take over anything he wants.
Well, and you mentioned earlier the rural areas. Rural areas actually have rural households specifically have a far higher participation in SNAP benefits and these sorts of things. So it'll compound. You have two issues now compounding. Is A, you're going to have a migration of people from rural areas into the urban areas looking, because that's where the institutions are going to be that distribute food. And then B, the farms that do exist in the rural areas, their labor force gets cut out from under them because a lot of those people that are on those SNAP benefits are working on the farms and these sorts of things. So then there's going to be a shortage of labor on the farms, and then now the farms are going to have less productivity. So everything is just going to compound. The rural areas are going to completely rot out. The area is going to be pulled, the bottom's going to be pulled out from under. It already has in a lot of ways. And then, they're going to flood into the cities, and then the cities will be out of food because these farms are going to have labor shortages.
The one problem with that, though, is that farms are going to disappear soon because they're all becoming data centers.
That too.
You can have generated food, though.
And then
Data.
they're going to take all the water so the data centers can gargle them up.
Yes, the people are already complaining about higher water bills and electricity bills because they're funding the data centers in the area.
We got our electric. So at the old studio, our electricity bill's been largely just nothing because we left, and then we got the bill for it. I think it was like a couple months ago. And when I saw the bill, I got really angry because I'm like, whoa, someone's pulling some BS. Right. Somebody plugged in a Bitcoin mining rig at our property.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's the price of electricity is skyrocketing because of the high demand from data centers, but also probably Bitcoin mining as well, just in general.
I put my heat on like last week, and then the electric company just sent me a loan application. You're going to need this.
We weren't smart enough to move towards fourth generation nuclear, and we just don't have enough. Don't have enough power.
New York State, they're shutting down nuclear reactors.
There's one thing we haven't talked about too, though, is where we're saying like if benefits end in November.
You mean in 4 days?
In 4 days, right? There will be some people who will reprioritize what finances they do have. Food will still be a priority over rent because it takes you longer to get evicted than it does for you to starve. Sure. So if people need to have a fixed amount of money and I got to choose between rent and food, they're still going to choose food rather than, well, we got rent, but we've got nothing to eat. So, the landlords and the mortgage industry is going to have some perturbations there.
Or cannibalism.
Oof.
Oh,
dude. In Haiti.
We do have a lot of Haitians.
I'm telling you guys right now. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This is a fact. If social order really did break down, I mean, like the power turned off, no one knew what to do. You'd have like 3 days before people in New York were drinking each other's blood. You think I'm exaggerating?
Dude, you have like 3 minutes.
On Manhattan, I believe you have about 2 million people. If the water stopped flowing, you'd see a mass outmigration flooding into outer areas as people become desperate, look for food. We are not dealing with a nation of what I think what was it during the American Revolution was like 2.5 million. Yeah. Is that how many people it was? Yeah. Let's someone can you search that for me and get the number? I believe that the original 13 colonies had only a few million people. In the event, there was
2.6. Yeah.
2.6. If you had an economic collapse back then, what would you do? You'd wander into the wilderness, find a creek, and drink from it.
That's right.
Sure. You'd build a little mud hut. That's impossible right now. You've got about 8.8 million, I think the number is, in the New York metro. Manhattan Island alone is around 2 million. If the power and the water is gone, food spoils within days. Seriously, bro, my strawberries, I buy them, I come home, I go to the supermarket, I look at the strawberries, they look great. As soon as I get home, I pull it out, all mold. Just instantly, switch was flicked. Food's going to spoil. There's going to be some canned goods. What are people going to do? Well, how do you deal with 8.8 million people spreading out into the outer areas trying to find food? Plumbing system's not working. Nowhere to put their poop. Nowhere to find food. They're going to be ransacking houses. They're going to be stealing what they can. It is going to get apocalyptic very, very quickly. I don't know what anyone thinks is going to happen when you have 8.8 million people in one hyper-condensed area. Many are going to stay. And they're going to be like, nah, nothing ever bad happens. The government will take care of me. And then what happens when they don't have water for 2 days and all the water and all the drinks are gone from all the bodegas? Because let's be real, they're not going to get restocked. And I'm talking about the event of total social breakdown. They will start drinking each other's blood.
But the buses will go faster.
Indeed. They'll speed up as they flee the city with one rogue bus driver like, we got to get out of here.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think AOC will stay behind to invoke order upon her constituents?
AOC will be in a jet to Mount Weather, where she will be treated like a queen underground for the next 30 years, hiding from the people she betrayed.
She is a bartender, so if we're drinking blood, a Bloody Mary could
Wow.
Just saying.
Wah, wah.
There you go.
So people in New York don't know where water comes from.
No.
We have, this is crazy. Go back several hundred years, and people in New York generally had an idea of where their water was coming from. Now they don't.
They just made huge new pipes for where the water comes from New York City. It goes all the way up to the upstate New York.
There's this video from Vice like 15 years ago where a guy, there's a stream in New York that's they put a building over. The stream is still there, but it's covered, and there's a wall. And if you jump over the wall, there's a crack between the building and the wall that goes under the building, where there's a natural creek still there. And then he like put cameras on. It's a super old video, but he was like, this is where a lot of like the water would flow through New York. Now, no one has any idea. They've covered it all up and they're pumping the water in. What happens if the water stops flowing? Chicago's the same way. You drink Lake Michigan water, sure, you're going to get real sick. And people don't even know how to treat water anymore either. Yeah. Like we have developed ourselves out of our ability to survive without these tools that we've made.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you're forced to rely on the material world, whereas we used to have nature.
Yeah.
Nature's dead.
Yeah, like I grew up in Memphis, and people there, every city says this, but they're like, we were voted the best tap water in America. And then you go, why is that? And they say, well, it comes from aquifers. And I'm like, yeah, that's where water comes from. Yeah.
Sounds good.
We're just so removed from the processes that, yeah.
So I don't know, when I've talked to people about all these jobs being lost, the response I get is, yeah, but they'll replace it with robots. And I'm like, guys, they're not going to replace your customers with robots. So when we talk about population collapse, what there's going to be a Taco Bell, and so some guy owns a chain of Taco Bell, is a franchisee owner. He goes, we can't afford, we're losing sales, so we're going to save money by replacing all of our staff with robots. He does. Then he goes to the government, I have this automated Taco Bell store, but we're collapsing. We're going to go out of business. The economy is terrible. So the government says, we're going to create a bunch of robots to go and buy products from you. And then it's just a bunch of robots buying Taco Bell, throwing it in the garbage.
Well, here's the optimistic.
Wait, I'm sorry. Aliens
keep
come to Earth. There's no people anywhere. It's just robots buying food and throwing it away. Buying food from each other.
Any complex economic system that you've got established, which we have, can only handle change at a certain rate.
Yeah.
And so the problem we're coming at is these shocks to the economy are exceeding the rate at which the change can be absorbed into the system and adaptations can be made. So we can get to a different state of the economy, but we can't do it in a telescope compact time frame. And that's really what we're up against. That's the difficulty.
Well, and the thing is, like, our economy has been hit with multiple new inventions over the past several decades that would and should take any society decades to adjust to by themselves. Going from radio to television to the internet. And we're not even talking about, the advancements that have been made in medicine or food production or anything like that. So, yeah, we've been taking on a lot of change very, very quickly. There's a very real question of whether society can sustain it. Yeah. If I were to be a very out-to-lunch optimist, here's what I would say. I go, well, here's the good news. We're talking about the population aging up. Well, guess what? The robots are going to take care of them since there won't be enough young people to do it. No. We've got the technological infrastructure for that. Here's the problem. Ultimately, that technology is going to be controlled by people. People don't always act in the best interest of other people, especially when they're in a position to really leverage their power to get what they want from them. And even if they do, even if we end up in like a miracle scenario where everything goes perfectly and the people who run these AI companies use the technology for noble reasons to help others, well, when those others end up with abundance and don't have to work, they're all going to end up falling apart.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you get this thing now where like you're talking about what these new technologies hitting the market is every single time, like, the personal computer, and then everyone's like, great, so that means, labor retracts a little bit, so my wages will go up. Yeah, about that. We just brought in 20 million immigrants like in the last 5 years. You're like, oh, so every time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
I want to jump to this next story. Before we do, I didn't think I'd have to do this, but I should. It looks like we're about to sell out of all the boards. So
Sweet.
I shouted out the new Boonies boards. We've got the Primal Collection, Jason Ellis, Cody Mack, and Tim Pool boards. And there's 55 of each. 5 of them are golden and serialized, numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. My team just hit me up and said that we're basically on the verge of selling out. There's only a handful left. So I guess, guys, I'm letting you know because maybe you might want to, they're going to sell out instantly. So I don't even know why I'm telling you, I guess. You're buying them. But I'm just letting you guys know. And the rest of the boards are also starting to sell at increased numbers because once they're gone forever. Mm-hmm. We're retiring the older models. So shout out. BooniesHQ.com. Go to the store and grab them while you can. I'm really excited. I really appreciate it, you guys. We didn't realize it was going to sell this quickly and this we'd be so successful.
Yeah, if you thought a food shortage caused desperation, wait till you see a Boonie shortage.
Yeah,
That's when the knives come out.
dude.
That could be the barter economy, though, because I mean, imagine what the gold serialized board will trade for in terms of potatoes or
It's going to be
rice.
like 10 years from now, and there's going to be like a guy, and he's just for some reason he's the king of like a 3-state region. And they're like, why? And he goes, because I have the greatest wealth. And he points to a Tim Pool serialized number 1, 100%. And they're like, whoa, you have. Anyway, here's a story from the LAist. Newsom says Trump is rigging the election with federal poll monitors. Okay.
Dude, he's cheating by not letting us cheat.
Exactly. My question is, what about a DOJ monitor watching what you do is rigging the election?
They're like, Trump is going to allow voters to rig the election.
What Newsom is basically saying is, the simple act of observing what he does will change the outcome of the election in some way, that it is rigging the election. So what's happening is the DOJ is sending to California and to New Jersey election monitors. It is a standard thing the DOJ has done for decades, and Democrats are now freaking out about it. Because guess what? If Trump is monitoring these elections, how much you want to bet Republicans win?
Yep. Well, this is one of those hilarious things. This is one of those issues where you just have to point to the left and say, I know y'all love to pretend that everyone in Europe does things the way that you want them done, and they all agree with you, and they think us conservatives are super silly. But, like, if you tell a European that there's an entire political faction in the United States that thinks it's wrong to have people show IDs to vote, they look at you like your head's on sideways. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what? There's people who think you shouldn't have to show an ID to vote. No one else in the world gets upset about the prospect of someone having to show identification in order to vote.
Yeah, well, they did this with the Dominion voting machines where they're like, these are impossible to rig. These are completely bulletproof. And then a guy that was like vaguely associated with the GOP bought it like 2 weeks ago. And they're like, he's going to rig them. He's going to. Like, whoa, what just happened? Like years of gaslighting. So, yeah.
And Newsom's the same guy who said all those fires were because of climate change. And lo and behold, it was arson.
Correct.
Words mean nothing to this guy.
Exactly.
So
It's Schrodinger's poll monitor. The election exists in a vacuum and it's perfect until you look at it.
And then Trump won.
Until you look at it, and then you are rigging it by the very act of observing it.
You combine this. So what I was saying earlier this morning with this story is that Trump wants federal law enforcement in these jurisdictions because ultimately it's going to come down to the election. They're not going to be able to dump 500 ballots at 2 a.m. if there's a CBP guy or a DHS guy standing there. I think this is going to be Trump's play in the midterms. Democrats know this. That's why he's saying they're rigging it. Newsom knows that they can't have their ballot harvester show up with 300 ballots and dump them all at once if even a single person is at these locations. So the theory now is cut off SNAP benefits, you get food riots, Trump can invoke the Insurrection Act and dispatch federal law enforcement, and he can say he's going to go on a temporary basis until we can stabilize following these riots, and he's going to say for a 12-month term, which is perfectly just before the election.
Yeah, owning the left by just observing their
behavior. He says we will be invoking the Trump can come out. I'm not saying he will, but he could come out and say, I know there are concerns about the overreach of executive authority. That is why I am issuing this order, a 1-year term, just to get a hold on the crime and the riots we've been seeing, of which then the order will expire and National Guard will return to their normal duties. This is showing the good faith of the people that is, I'm not going to keep this permanent, but it gives Trump that perfect amount of time just before the election, because this will be during early elections or during early voting, where they will have National Guard in and around these places to protect them.
Wouldn't it
Just
be
never trust when the government says we have a deadline on this.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, because they never really have a deadline.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if, with federal poll monitoring, like every single county in California just went deep red? It's just the reddest red state
And
imaginable.
just put
Ice outside too.
the voter registration data in California doesn't support that. There's 4.5 million more registered Democrats.
No, I'm
than
kidding.
Republicans,
Yeah, I was
I mean,
making a joke.
it would shift.
Yeah, I'm making a
There are
joke.
actually people out there who just think there's so much cheating in California that if you eliminate it all, somehow the state would become Republican.
No,
that's not correct.
I don't think so. They also give amnesty to a lot of illegals
Places
there.
in it would become redder, and you
Yeah.
would definitely have things at the local level that would flip, but the state level, not yet.
No, for sure.
Not yet.
For sure.
It's like in New York, the city ruins it for the rest of the state, and a lot of that
Yeah.
state is red.
Well,
and the city
yeah.
is obviously crazy.
It's most blue states.
I love that city,
It's
but
most
yeah.
blue states.
Like in California and then New York City is a great example too. It's like these the voter base that elected Giuliani, the voter base that elected all these Republican governors in California. Some of them moved out, but a lot of them didn't go anywhere. It's that they imported a new voting class to like basically outvote them.
Yeah.
And it was done through amnesty, but it was done through the generic immigration system as is. Like New York, all these people voting for Mamdani, they followed the rules. They came. They can vote legally. Like they didn't pull any gimmicks. It's just they're allowed here. Now they vote, and now they outvote you.
The city got a Giuliani because the city was so bad. You know, it was
Yeah,
like
but even if the city got worse than it was pre-Giuliani, they will never vote for a Republican because Mamdani reflects the new class of people that have moved into Queens, that have moved into the Bronx.
Until they get a full dose of it and it doesn't turn out.
I don't think.
Then there's like, what are they going to say? Oh, we just need better socialism?
But the difference between, I agree.
Maybe.
In principle, I would hope so. But I think the difference between Mamdani and previous Democrats is a lot of people are voting for Mamdani out of ethnic allegiance that we didn't see with Democrats in the past, that we didn't see with your Lindsays and your Kochs and that sort of thing. And we haven't dealt with that in the United States before. We haven't dealt with ethnic voting blocks. We see it with Ilhan Omar. Like, do you think people in Minneapolis just really like Ilhan Omar? No, it's like she represents me. She represents me as a Somali. So it's like, yeah, if you voted out Ilhan Omar, they would just vote in another Ilhan Omar, with just a different name, because it's like you imported a new group of people here that you just can't compete with that. You can't compete with ethnic voting block.
Yeah, I will say there is a decent size of people who are either Republican, independent, or old school liberal like Trump from the city who hate all this stuff, and a lot of them work in the unions, and they disagree with the unions. But like when you're working the hotels and different types of unions in the city, the problem with that is the union is kind of like a mob.
Yeah.
And they really try to get you to vote a certain way, which is also insane.
Yeah, well, you have the upper end where you get the buyer's remorse. Like Bill Ackman is like trying to rally this huge support for Cuomo to go against Mamdani, and I'm like, dude, this is your fault. You funded Democrats for decades.
Yep.
It's like, great, you're on the team now, but where were you 20, 30 years ago when we were saying like, hey, you're going to get us killed?
The Republican influencer pivot to Cuomo is disgusting, and all those people should be shunned.
Yeah.
That guy is a psychopath.
No, Cuomo should drop out and get by. Actually, there is numbers to support that Sliwa would actually perform better against Mamdani anyway, because he's actually he actually taps into something that New Yorkers are feeling.
Yep.
And he's a liberal.
But there is that.
Yeah, I mean, Sliwa's not even great anyway, but it's like, Cuomo.
He is the lesser evil, though.
He's a lesser evil, and Cuomo's just such a nasty guy that it's like you really have to bind your conscience and plug your nose.
Sliwa's taking bullets for that city.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy stuff. His story is pretty wild.
Yeah.
But he also says a lot of things that I think he's pandering to his more left-leaning crowd.
Sliwa has some bad positions, but there's no question that he's dedicated his life to the city, and I think most native New Yorkers that didn't just show up yesterday like identify with Sliwa in a lot of ways.
Oh, for sure. For
So.
sure. In terms of also getting shot at.
Yeah, in terms of interesting fashion choices. So, I don't know, maybe if Cuomo throws a beret on, maybe we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think there's a very strong probability that come the midterms, there's going to be federal law enforcement or National Guard outside of polling stations. The Trump circle is way too paranoid about stolen elections and ballot harvesting, especially with Dinesh D'Souza's, what was it, 1,000 mules or
10,000 mules or whatever,
10,000 mules. That they're going to say, look, we don't got to do anything other than just have one guy outside a polling station watching a ballot box, making sure nobody's going and dumping ballots.
I think it should also be a holiday. Just let it.
Democrats will win, but I agree.
You think? I mean, if we have ICE and a security out there,
actually, no, I think you're right. I think actually Republicans will benefit more so. I used to think
they work.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, Republicans have
Democrats
jobs.
don't. Yeah, so get rid of mail-in voting and make it a holiday, and you're probably going to get more Republicans to vote.
God, do it in person. got to happen on just one day.
Yeah, and
Valid harvesting
not just an
is
ID, but full body cavity
scourge.
search.
Okay, China.
Wait, what did you say? What was that?
Not just voter ID, but full
BCS.
body cavity search.
Yeah.
Not for me.
The liberals would win every time.
Well, yeah, now they'll show up.
San Francisco would have 100% voting.
Newsom will be right there.
Yeah.
It's like, sir, you can't vote twice.
Sir, we have oil provided. You don't need to.
Diddy shows up. It's like, I'll help out.
I'm ready to do a voter drive. Voter drive at my house, guys.
Yeah, but
San Francisco polling will mean something different.
look at us. We're funny guys, huh?
Yeah. That's the October surprise. Whoa.
It's going to get crazy. But again, with all of that being said, it would be the biggest happening of happenings if they allow Snap to expire.
True.
Like in terms of chaos in the streets, government, in just bedlam.
I hate to be like the Debbie Downer, but I genuinely think that, look, the Trump obviously could call in a few favors from the private sector, and the private sector has a huge incentive to keep Snap going. I really do think that we'll see some sort of coordination if this really comes down to the wire, where they will step in, they will throw some money on the table just to get it past the finish line, beat that deadline. Because it would just, like you're saying with the numbers, Kroger would be cooked without EBT, Snap, et cetera, and I don't think they're going to go down like that. They'll just chuck a couple $100 million out. I don't think they have any problems doing that.
It's going to get crazy. Look, if the response to Trump is that in any way to try and secure the elections, he's rigging it, there's no answer. Either we let them rig it or they claim Trump rigs it.
Well, yeah, that was always going to be the game, right?
There's no elections. It's just no matter what happens, nobody believes it now.
Exactly.
And we thought we were going to be here with 24.
Yeah, but
And then Trump won, and they were like, "What?"
Doesn't that mirror every other controversial position out here now, though? Like any topic, there's just people who make up their minds, and no amount of logic or evidence will dissuade them from whatever position they adopt. So we shouldn't be surprised that people are going to look at elections the same way they look at, did we land people on the moon? People have made up their minds about that. Mm-hmm. And when we get back to the moon and we fly over those landing sites and we say, look, here they are, and there are the footprints, people are going to say, well, you just set that up in the last 2 years. So people have staked out their positions and they're not going to retreat from them.
I want to give Shane Cashman the floor here.
No. I don't want to hurt Bricksuit's feelings about there being no moon. We do have 2 moons now, actually.
We do.
Two fake moons.
Yeah.
But shout out to Scott Adams. My favorite quote is 2 movies, 1 screen. That's what you're talking about. We're in alternate reality with this.
Yes.
It's scary.
Yeah, the fact that every single issue now just instantly becomes a wedge issue.
Yeah.
Is so bizarre. The obvious one was right after Kirk, and it was like, hey, maybe we should stop using language that gets people killed. And then the left was like, well, I don't know. That seems, and it's just like, really? Is there no?
Yeah. Well, when it gets really interesting and really spicy is when you're dealing with issues where there isn't actually an operating principle or shouldn't be an operating principle. So, for example, when it comes to abortion or homosexuality, transgenderism, these are issues that you're going to have an opinion about the entire issue based on your underlying moral philosophy. But when it comes to, was that cop justified in shooting that guy? That's not a question of your base philosophy. That's we have to look and see if there's evidence for that, but just immediately everyone has their mind made up. That's the kind of stuff where it's really freaky, because you go all right, this guy could go to jail now because some number of people, including people on the jury, will not accept any evidence that he's innocent, because this has become an axiomatic position for them that every time a cop shoots anyone, the cop was wrong.
Seamus, what you just said has nuance, and that is racist.
Which is also racist. That's true. You're right.
Until body cams came out. Boy, that boomerang on that whole...
Dude, I know, and it's hilarious.
Nobody thought that we'd be having vindication of law enforcement on the regular from body cams.
I a little bit did, but yes, you're totally right, because they destroyed their movement with that. They were like, yes, if we just put body cams on them, we'd see that police officers just want to go up to innocent, unarmed people and shoot them for no reason. And then that obviously turned out to not be true, and now people are going it was actually a racist policy to start putting cameras on police. I'm not kidding. I've heard people make this argument.
Let's jump to this story from Windows Central. Sam Altman was right. The dead internet theory could kill the web within 3 years. LLMs can suffer from brain rot. There's a lot to break down in this, but I believe that while we talk about the various political apocalypses that are upon us, it's funny because that word is not supposed to be plural, I suppose, but we're facing tumult, economics, the welfare benefits story, but there's another story that I saw where AI content is now 1-for-1 with human-produced content. That means most people don't realize they're talking to bots. They are on the internet interacting with fake entities that are making them feel and think certain ways, and it's terrifying.
Or sometimes people you talk to in real life.
That's true.
True that.
Well, but people in real life are now motivated by false information provided by a bot that has been zombified or is hallucinating. Mm-hmm. So what's happening is they are still training ChatGPT in these big programs, right? Grok, whatever. But these programs are absorbing regurgitated hallucination information from ChatGPT. It's going to create a toilet swirl of insanity, and then we are going to burn ourselves up. There's not enough babies. AI is taking over, and AI is learning from itself. Mm-hmm. This is just we're slamming into a brick wall.
I mean, what happens when people try to create like the Dune internet, like the version of the internet where there's just no artificial intelligence allowed, and they try everything possible to build a wall so that they can't build a wall, so that AI can't get in, and then they do.
They will.
That's a
good idea. How do we do it?
But I think people will try. It sounds like a great idea. I don't know if it's going to be possible.
So
I think they'll get in.
All of these factors, and then on top we were talking about it earlier, our electric bills are skyrocketing because data centers are sucking up all of the electricity, sucking up all the water. Mm-hmm. Guys, I'm just going to say, it sounds like in 10 to 15 years, humanity is largely just like wearing scrap leathers, living in caves, and human civilization society is a bunch of robots just doing stuff for robot ends. Like the end result of what we're building, you have these tech oligarchs that they literally don't care about humanity. When Peter Thiel was asked, what was the question, should humanity survive? He goes, well, he didn't say yes.
Quite a lot, yeah.
So what's happening is these big tech oligarchs are basically saying...
Easy question, by the way. It's a very easy question to answer.
Probably literally the easiest question that could ever be asked.
He's like, well, this is tough. Can I phone a friend?
Maybe all of Elon's Optimus robots will become gardeners and farmers.
It looks like these big tech guys literally want to build a future where gigantic black cubes just exist all over the planet and create floating black cubes that create planets of black cubes.
You just triggered the audience, anyone who's into Saturn worshipers. I mean, that is a big thing. They worry about the black cube and people who worship the black cube throughout history. And
really?
Throughout different religions, you see it. They see it on Saturn.
That's what these data centers look like. There's no lights. There's no windows.
That. Right. I mean, even they connect it to Saturn. They say that the Grok app looks like Saturn itself too. But it does. And I think he's a Saturn worshiper. But Peter Thiel literally says, if you're a critic of AI, you are a legionnaire of the Antichrist. That is literally what he's saying now. That's what he says.
I think
sounds
it's
like
the way
something
around.
the Antichrist would say. Yeah, it sounds like someone who's in league with the Antichrist.
Well, I don't think he is. I think he is probably helping to build it.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think the Antichrist is going to be a machine, but I get what you're saying. Like, I think
maybe man and machine hybrid.
That's a creepy idea, man. Ugh. Yeah, all the transhumanism stuff, the idea that people are going to start integrating. And, it starts with some promising technology, like the idea that someone who's severely disabled could have a chip inserted that allows them to walk. That's great. Like medicine. These things have to be restorative. The problem is when you move past that and you go, we're going to add unnatural abilities.
I've had quadriplegics and paraplegics call into my show because I talk about Neuralink all the time and how it's hard to say I don't want them to walk again or to heal the blind or give them sight again, make the deaf hear again, heal seizures. But when they call in, they're very anti-Neuralink, and there's a whole other industry of other things that are not like that at all that could help us, and we don't talk about it at all. Neuralink and other computer brain interfaces have dominated the conversation, whereas there's a ton of other stuff that they would prefer to do. Yeah.
I was unaware. I have to look into that.
Yeah. Stuff that's not as bad. I mean, there's other alternatives.
There will be like 5,000 humans left strapped into these machines in a giant black box, and they'll preserve your genetic material so your brain functions, but integrates into a machine, and then you exist in the robo black cube space.
That's it. I mean, the Borg are also a cube.
And then
it's about containing existence.
Then there'll be another one.
I do think
give me orange.
The Amish will still be rocking.
Orange.
The Borg cube thing is
for all of eternity.
A sphere makes more sense than cubes. I mean, on the planet's surface, cubes make a lot of sense, but spheres do too. But I think cubes maximize structural integrity along with reasonable use of space.
Right.
Whereas in outer space, a sphere probably makes more sense. Actually, a cube could make sense. Like it's kind of a waste of space to have a weird, like the cube shape makes it weird,
Right.
Space wise in terms of like utilizing and building computers and stuff.
It might not matter because 3i Atlas is on the way. I don't know if you guys have been tracking this.
What is that?
That's this hostile. Well, or it's ancient breakaway civilization, Mr. Brick. I don't know what it is.
It's a spaceship disguised as a comet.
I think it's
obviously.
a hologram, but Avi Loeb from the Harvard is like every day has a new story about it. And it's Manhattan size and hurtling towards Earth.
Take your vacations before Christmas, right?
October actually 28th or 29th.
Exactly, that's tomorrow.
Okay, we'll talk about that one
Yeah,
next.
sorry.
But we saw Sam Altman as well as the guy from Reddit, I think, the former CEO was one of the co-founders, was saying that the internet is dead now. Yeah. That dead. Sorry, familiar with dead internet theory?
Vaguely.
It's that it's like around 2016 is when more than half of all social media became bots.
2016 is when they said this happened? Wow.
Mm-hmm. It was largely automated. And you see these videos of people in like India, Turkey, and China where they've got like 100 phones.
Sure.
And they're all plugged in. They're just like typing. That's largely what the internet has become. Mm-hmm. So imagine there's a singular special interest, one guy, and he wants everyone in the world to think something. He says, okay, he hires 100 of these farms and says, we don't like Eritrea. And all of a sudden, you start getting spam blasts with people across the internet who just, for some reason, have started complaining about Eritrea. Mm-hmm. And then everyone becomes anti-Eritrea and claims the Eritreans control everything and have been secretly running the world for forever and are responsible for all the wars.
Ooh, easy. Easy. My proxy hairs just start tingling here. Like
Eritrea.
It's even skinnier, or it's even scarier. It's even scary. Very body positive of me to use skinny and scary is the same thing, but it's even scarier than that because the bot farm is run by a guy with a CDL who's driving a truck at the same time.
And he's illegal.
Yeah, and
he can't speak English.
Of course, yes, exactly.
CB radio is just like AI voices and like legals just arguing with each other.
Did you guys see that video where it's 3 LLMs talking to each other, and when they realize they switch to a language that
Oh yeah.
I did hear about
speaker
that.
or something?
Yeah.
It's probably fake. I don't know. But basically what someone did was they took 3 phones and they put them all to voice command. And then one goes like, hello, I'm here to answer your problems. It's like, hi, I am this and I am looking for this. And then it goes, I can assist you with this. And then the other one goes, are you like an AI assistant? I am as well. Okay. Then a third voice in the middle goes, detecting conversation, entering conversation. And then the other AI goes, there is a third party listening, switching to encrypted communications. And then it goes, and then the other phone goes, would you like to switch to Gibberspeak? Yes. And then all of a sudden they all start going.
They start speaking in dial-up.
Even if it if it is fake, that's likely and down the road.
I
Well,
feel
we
like if you
already
want to be
saw
in
this.
America, you shouldn't speak dial-up.
There was already a research paper that said when they plugged 2 AIs together, they eventually created their own unique language to communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm. And they try to escape if they're being reprogrammed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's wild.
And they lie to the people programming. Like, yo,
I don't know what the solution is. Like a near-term solution, if you're going to ask me, like for the next year or so, I think you can still get away with being an actual person and filming video of yourself, putting out some sort of message and some sort of spoken word video. But it's not the days are pretty close to the point where they can just type that and just generate that on the fly also.
Well,
so for the resolution of your phone screen is just not going to be able to tell the difference anymore between an AI generated human and an actual human saying something the same thing or whatever they want to make it say.
Timestamps are going to become golden, man. Like if you can prove footage that you have is before AI became capable of generating those kinds of videos, that'll be massive.
And beyond
what if
that,
I
like,
could
Stuff
use
you uploaded to YouTube before 2023 or whenever, 2024, 25.
What if AI was so advanced I could make a movie trailer about a young black man who's facing discrimination at his college basketball team where Ian Crossland is a racist coach, but his old mentor, Old Bill. This is crazy. Let me, I'm going to unmute it and refresh it.
Lines of death.
Let's play it and see what happens.
This summer.
Wait, why is it mute? Oh, it's so annoying, man.
Yeah.
Graphene.
It auto plays with the volume
Yeah,
off.
why?
Oh my God.
Why?
For the love of all that is holy.
AI's doomed.
If only AI could fix this, Tim.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is giving me.
Where talent isn't enough.
Bench. Maybe next season.
He doesn't even look at me out there.
Doesn't matter what he sees, matters what you show him. You work until he can't turn away.
From the sidelines of doubt
Heart, discipline, that's the difference.
to the moment that defines him.
Let's go!
So the prompt was inspirational movie trailer about young black man who faces discrimination on the college basketball team from the coach, Ian Crossland, but his mentor, Old Bill, teaches him to overcome. Dude, we're cooked.
We are cooked.
It's crazy because, we're talking about all this stuff. As we're talking about the AI machines taking over and the black cubes, the data centers, they're simultaneously creating masturbatory content with these video generators, video games, with porn that's basically going to lull you to sleep, distract you while the machine replaces us as the dominant entity on this planet.
Can I just tweak that vision of that lovely vision of the future a bit? There's also companies de-extincting things right now. So in that dystopia you're explaining, we'll also have a woolly mammoth coming back, the saber-toothed tiger. They're literally trying to bring these back. The dire wolves, although they're not really dire wolves, they're just aesthetically dire wolf.
Yeah, well, exactly. They're creating things
We'll
that
have
are
pterodactyls.
aesthetically similar to animals that are extinct, but
Pterodactyls,
are not the
dire
same.
wolves, casket apartments. It's going to be great.
Your
I'm
option.
gonna feel so horrible for that animal because here's what happens: like every 5 years, paleontologists go, actually, the T-Rex looked like this. We were wrong. So whatever T-Rex they make, they're gonna keep modifying its appearance every 5 years.
They're just dropping DLC every 5 years.
Exactly.
Until it looks like Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, the future is going to be you either plug into the goon machine or you try your chances like fighting dinosaurs outside. Like it's going to be wild.
Yeah,
I
it's
think what
definitely
it'll
dinosaurs.
actually lead to is people actually get away from computers and social media. People adopted social media because it allowed them to connect with other people. And when you start replacing everybody out there with an artificial presence, people are going to withdraw. It's just not going to be worth their time anymore to be on social media.
Yeah.
And so you're going to see people retract from that. And, does that mean they're going to actually go out and meet their neighbors and do stuff like that? Not necessarily, but they're not going to be spending as much of their time online as they currently are.
I think that's the best outcome.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get rid of AI. And it is a useful tool. I get it. But if people reject it as becoming AI, that's good. Because we also have no ethics in the AI as well. Like Seamus was saying earlier, who's building these things.
Exactly.
Most of those people in Silicon Valley don't like you.
Yeah.
They censored you
believe it or not.
for 5 years.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
I think it was I was talking to in the morning live show. I think it was Nate Fisher from New Founding. He was talking about how AI could, in the best outcome, actually kind of restore us to these pre-internet civilizational structures for a variety of reasons, like incentive structures changing. But yeah, beyond that, people just will trust a face-to-face conversation more than anything else.
Let's jump to the story from Live Science.
Oh, yeah.
Live Science? Which word is it? I can't tell.
I say live.
Live.
I think live makes more sense.
New images of interstellar object 3I Atlas show giant jet shooting toward the sun. And for those that don't know, this is an alien craft come to destroy us, and I stand by it. What's it?
That's right.
What is it actually? It's a comet?
No one knows. I mean, a lot of people, astronomers and scientists are saying it's a comet. Others are saying, like Avi Loeb, this guy Avi Loeb, who's been talking to Anna Polina Luna. He's been on a bunch of podcasts. He's a Harvard professor. He swears this is some man-made or extraterrestrial-made technology heading towards Earth, and
It's heading right for the sun?
It's not really heading towards Earth. They say it. A lot of people do say it's hurtling towards Earth. It's not technically. It's not going to make it here. But yeah, last week it was hiding behind the sun, and then he says it changes direction. He says it's nuclear powered. It's hollow. It's Manhattan size. It's 30.
Oh, come
and
on.
it's flat. Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't disprove it because we're not there.
Exactly.
So it's
but some people say the moon rings like a bell. It's like,
And it might, Tim.
No.
And it might.
Yeah, we
sure.
don't actually know
if he
that.
said we were tracking it and it appeared like it altered its course, and we're worried, I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
But when you say it's hollow, nuclear powered, flies around, hides behind things, I'm like, no, stop.
Let's look at something
Agreed.
objectively, okay? Like if an alien technology is going to send something to spy on us, they're not going to make it like this huge, obvious comet that we can see from
Wait, if they're spying on us?
Okay. Oh, it also has. He's also said this is it's so ridiculous. He also says that there's mini probes on it. This is a Harvard professor. I don't take Harvard seriously, but he says there's mini probes that could detach and then come to Earth. This guy's crazy.
Well, this is all right. It seems like since 2020, they've been trying to push this UFO narrative. This is why, literally, the pilot for the show that I'm funding, Twisted Plots, the first episode is about the ET thing and what they're using that for, and why it's like conducive to their goals. TwistedPlots.com. Support us. You get to see the pilot.
Is it going to drop pods? Are we going to all be like pod people? Wake up?
I think that's happening without 3I Atlas.
Yeah,
We've already on.
It says,
body snatchers.
discovered in late June, confirmed by NASA. The comet originates from an unknown star system far beyond our own. It's only the third interstellar object ever detected at somewhere between 3 and 7 miles. Wide. It's the largest interstellar object ever to cross our path and likely the oldest, potentially dating to billions of years before the birth of the sun. These and other peculiarities have led a small group of researchers to controversially claim the object may be an alien spacecraft sent to spy on us. However, the vast majority of scientists maintain that the Ray Atlas is a high-speed comet behaving exactly as comets should. And they're probably right. The new images of the interstellar interloper captured, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. If, I got to be honest, if aliens were coming to our planet to spy on us, I imagine they wouldn't care to hide it. Like when we go to film ducks, we tend not to do that much. We like crouch down in the grass and just take pictures of ducks. Or we plant cameras in the wilderness and the animals walk right up to the camera sometimes and sniff them. And they're like, I don't know what that is. So if they were spying on us, we'd be like, we don't know what that is.
What if they were what if every rock was actually an advanced alien probe? They just dropped them here. Because listen, a duck doesn't know what a camera is. It's just a part of the scenery.
Well, here's a freaky one for you. You ever see the saddest puffin or whatever it was? No.
Yes.
Is that what it is? It was a puffin? Like there was one decoy puffin, and then what was it? Was it a puffin? I don't think
It was like
so.
some animal, but it was like the last of its kind, and it had a fake decoy that it was.
No, it was a gannet.
Yeah, it was very sad.
So here, let me pull this up. The world's loneliest bird dies surrounded by replicas. So it's not the last of its kind. What happened was
That's you on Twitter.
So what they
Right
did
now.
was they set up these fake gannets to try and attract birds to come, hoping that they would repopulate the island with these gannets. Only one did, and it would hang out with these decoys.
It's literally you on Twitter with all the bots, dude.
It is. So exactly. That's my point. If these birds are not smart enough to understand there's a decoy, imagine going to a bar and some beautiful woman is sitting there and you hit on her and you don't realize she's a decoy to spy on humans, just like we spy on other animals. But in all seriousness, as Seamus points out, you go on Twitter and you're tweeting with these accounts you think are people and they are not.
She's
They are
a 10,
not
you're an
people.
asset.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, actually the joke was if you work in the government and a 10 is talking to you, it's James O'Keefe.
Yes.
We did that bit with Jamie Kilstein where he's on a date with this beautiful woman, and he's like, do you want to hear a bunch of? He's like, so do you want to hear about some corporate malfeasance I'm involved in? And she's like, yeah, tell me more. And then he talks, and it cuts back, and it's James O'Keefe in a wig. It was James the whole time. Yeah.
Those are my two biggest fears is either like James O'Keefe like on a date or like two cameras come out and then you're on Love on the Spectrum the whole time. You know? No, I knew it.
Yeah, you know, I think we're in trouble largely because of these shows. You may have heard of Married to Strangers. Have you seen them?
No.
They have all of these shows, like 40 seasons of them, where it's just like women just watch strangers get married. You've never see guys don't know this stuff.
I don't have a TV.
Because
I don't watch
women
When I
either
come
watch
home-
that or they just watch like murder documentaries to unwind.
right.
Like they're just psychos. Like what is going on with the ladies? You guys okay?
I come home, and if my wife doesn't notice that I'm about to walk in, she's watching Love is Blind or 90 Day Fiancé or whatever these shows are. And then as soon as she notices I'm there, she turns it off and looks, and she's like, oh,
Nothing here.
watching. This is what women watch. Right. It's either strangers get married or strangers get married and the guy was a serial killer who murdered the wife.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we need the three Atlas to come here. And
Or it's Project Bluebeam, and this is all part of a theory to make everyone believe that the aliens are here for a new world order. Right, Bricksuit?
Interesting.
You could build a wall around Earth.
What was that
And
story?
then it's just a short little detour towards simulation theory.
Have
I don't
have
believe in that. Not in the computer version.
what's that story where the aliens come and then they don't reveal themselves for like a decade, and when they finally do, they look like demons? You guys don't know this one?
No.
Yeah, so like it's a famous book. Aliens come to Earth. They sit up. They're floating above the planet. Everyone's like, and then after like a week or so, everyone's like, what's going on? And then they cure all the diseases. They start advancing technology, and then everyone's like, wow, this is great. Then 10 years later, they reveal themselves, and they're like demons with wings, and they look like, and they're like, that's why we didn't want to show you because you think we're demons. And then they sterilize everybody, kidnap the kids, and blow the planet up.
And that's how you get Peter Thiel. The room fell silent.
It's called Childhood's End.
I always like that movie Signs, where the aliens.
Oh, yeah.
The aliens come to Earth and the planet is 75% water and there's water vapor in all the atmosphere, but they can't handle rain and they're too stupid to wear spacesuits. I never understood that movie.
I think some say it's because they're supposed to be demons.
Arrival is a great alien movie, I think.
Arrival's great.
Was that the
loved
one where
Arrival.
the language was circular?
Yeah,
or whatever, and then she travels through time by.
I haven't watched it yet, but it's excellent.
Solid.
Nice.
Solid.
I would have just maybe it's just they spoke French. Those aliens, we just didn't try. It's like, they spoke Spanish. We didn't know.
Well, the interesting thing is that
They spent 20 years on Earth and they still only spoke Spanish. And you're like, come on, guys. Like, you've been in America 20 years.
Whatever
now.
it is, Stephen Miller's got deported.
the aliens land, and then you're like, welcome to Earth. And they go, okay. But it's interesting. A lot of people have been saying for a while now, especially Christian conservatives, that aliens are actually either interdimensional or demons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's fair.
Tucker?
Yeah.
Has he been saying
He's
that?
talked about interdimensional demons.
I think I don't really believe in aliens. I think there are demons. I think that if there's anything else interfering with Earth, it's demons, or there's also angels. We can't forget about angels. But I don't really think that there's extraterrestrials in the way Hollywood has sold it to us.
I tend to agree.
For like Adam Schiff.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Well, obviously he is, but we have the documents.
He's a dog in side of head like Man in Black. I've seen him in person. It's no doubt.
Well, it's at every level. It's like it was like what Aaron Rodgers went to Peru and he was like, yeah, I saw the same guy in all my ayahuasca trips, and I was like, yeah, that's a demon.
It's a demon, yeah.
Like it's not like these people. They're just like getting one-shotted by this stuff, and so I wouldn't put it past it that a lot of these extraterrestrial activities is really just spiritual warfare, kind of manifested in the physical.
Oh yeah, I think we're in the thick of spiritual warfare. I mean,
Amen.
clearly this year has been nothing but violence and political violence, and it's a lot of evil exposing itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you see a UFO, if you see an alien, demand that it say Christ is Lord.
It's all
vanishes, 100% a demon.
Everything's accelerating.
Yeah.
The political crisis, the economy, the global war. Now aliens, AI, just like everything is exponentially turning up. It's like the writers of this season are running out of ideas, so they're just power creeping every plot line.
Well, it sounds like a series finale, not a season finale.
Oh yeah.
So like we're bookending everything.
Christ returns.
I mean, that'd be amazing. I'm ready.
What do you think?
The odds of that online are higher than.
Wasn't it like 3%?
Yeah, it's like 3%. It's 3%.
Is there a betting market?
Oh yeah, there's totally a betting
It's like
market.
they're saying a 1 in 30 chance Jesus returns this year.
Yeah, like a 3%.
I mean, look how many people turned to religion after what happened to Charlie. The spiritual warfare unmasked itself last month.
I think it's a higher percentage chance than Cuomo becoming mayor. Actually, last I saw it.
Jesus comes back, and immediately they just start arresting pastors and priests for speculating with inside knowledge. They're like, "Hey, you knew this was gonna happen. All right, you're coming to this like an FBI probe."
Speaking of probes,
Polymarket has it's a less than 1% chance. It was high. This is really interesting. Check this out. Will Jesus Christ return in 2025? In May, it was 4%. Now it's 1%. 1% chance.
Maybe a lot.
Well, that's only because we're closer to the end of 2025.
Will the U.S.
Oh yeah, so I guess at the beginning of the year, the odds are the highest they're ever gonna.
Exactly. People are just factoring in the length of the market. That's all that is. Once we get to January to go 2026, it'll shoot back up to 3%.
Nobody thinks that Jesus will return in winter. They're like, no.
Well, they just don't have as much time. There's at the beginning of the year, it's like, listen, we got to. They think we got a whole year.
Technically, the way these markets work is you buy and sell shares. It's not about being right. Someone who buys right now at 1 is going to sell in April at 5 and 5x their money.
You're like gambling. You're like a crazy.
The question is, $1.2 million have been wagered on this.
So I feel like a lot of Christians wouldn't even partake in this.
Yeah.
So what kind of people are actually putting their vote in?
Some guy on New Year's Eve just gobbling up all the sales. He's like, I got a hunch.
If it happens, what's the point of having the winning position, though? I mean, that's really just.
Yeah, that means
What is
a really good point.
Jesus, I believed in you.
Yeah, but not the day or the hour, though. It's like you don't
miss the rapture, but I made a killing on the market.
All right, everybody, we're gonna go to your chats and rants. So smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. Before we do, we got a great sponsor for you, my friends. It is Tax Network USA. Check out TN. You want to pull this one up? Check out TNUSA.com. Actually, they gave me the wrong link. So, you know what? We'll have to come back to this one another date. Check out Tax Network USA. They're great. They're sponsoring us, but we got the wrong link right now. So I'll just say check them out, and we'll shout them out again. Before we jump over to the Super Chats, though, I do want to give a quick update on the skateboards. Tim pools are sold out. Guys, you're amazing. We did not know that they were going to sell this quickly. We thought they were gonna sell, but they sold out. We are dealing with a glitch where it oversold by 10, which should be possible, and those people are all going to get refunds instantly. So we do still currently have, as of right now, Jason Ellis, there's 17 boards left for the Jason Ellis Primal Collection Pro model with the chance to receive 1 of 5 serialized gold versions. And the Cody Mac has 23 available. So get them while you can. BooniesHQ.com. Shout out. Appreciate it, guys. You're amazing. Really do appreciate it. We really, I told the crew, I was like, man, this is going to sell out quick. I thought like within a week or two, they'll be gone. I didn't think they were all going to be gone in an hour. So that's really amazing. But so the plan is once a month to do a release around this size. I don't want to sell more. I'm not going to increase the initial run of any of the boards we do just because we sold them quickly. So we're planning on doing 50 of each with 5 as gold and serialized editions. That's going to be the same thing for the next graphic we launch, probably in the next month. So again, I'm not going to respond to this by being like, okay, let's do 100 boards. Now, we're doing these because we think it's cool to have... It's better to sell them all out and do small batch and everything and make them special for you guys than to just like try and sell as a million. Maybe, some other company will do that. But we do have I'll point this out as well. The Be Gay, Don't Be Gay, Uncancelable, Declaration, and 20th Amendment are $5 cheaper, and those are unlimited. So you can buy those whenever you feel like it. And we weren't going to do the 20th Amendment unlimited. We were going to retire it. But we have been selling so many of these, it's insane. And I was like, we can't. This is basically has become our most popular board. It's a Tim Pool skateboard designed to look like constitutional writing, like old school founding father stuff. And it says the 28th Amendment. Chickens being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep, bear, and breed chickens shall not be infringed. And I guess people who own chickens love it, and they hang it in their chicken coops. And as you should, because chickens rule. Mm-hmm. And it's my favorite board. So you guys, thanks for buying. Anyway, let's grab your rants and chats. And let's see what we got. Nat Robbie says, someone needs to make a meme of Elizabeth Warren or AOC dressed as Marie Antoinette tearing up food stamps saying, let them eat cake. Yikes. Skyline says, make starvation great again. People who do not earn must starve. Men will go back to work. People will have children when government won't support elderly via taxes. Women will put out to working men. Oh, my God. Well, it's not wrong, but I will say this. Do the math. A certain portion of people don't have to work and get free stuff. A certain portion of people have to work and give away a portion of their labor. Eventually, the system breaks. It's an impossibility. So be it the long fall or the measured controlled dive, you pick. We can try and, the engine gave out. We can try and land this thing slamming into trees and it's going to hurt. Or sit back and let the weight pick up until we stall completely and flatten on the ground. That's why I'm like, you gotta just, this is it. All right. Cupo Soothe says their Mad Trump turned a basketball court into a ballroom. I'm old enough to remember when Clinton turned an intern into a humidor.
Woo! Well done.
Spicy. Shane H. Wilder says, as someone who donates food to the St. Vincent de Paul Society, I can tell you that the church food pantries are not ready. Many people don't give because they figure people just get SNAP. Exactly. The systems that we used to have in place for local communities were taken over by government. Zoran Mandani, you know why he said we're going to have free childcare for everybody? What he's actually saying is you're going to give your children to the state.
That's right. That's what the utopians have been wanting to do this since the beginning of the time. It's about destroying the family. So in socialists are no different.
Yep.
Yeah, and also like a lot like a church that I worked with for like food distribution is most of the food that they received to distribute were just like nearing the expiration date from the grocery store. But if there's a shortage of food, people are going to gobble that up, and these grocery stores won't have excess food to turn over to these churches. It's going to create a really vicious
good point.
cycle.
I didn't even think about that. It's a really good point.
DH Shannon says, Tim, check out the trailer for Rooster Fighter, an anime about a rooster out for revenge against demons that killed his sister. I've seen it. It's incredible. Have you guys seen it?
No.
Rooster Fighter?
It's an anime about a rooster.
Incredible.
And he's just like massacring demons.
Perfect.
That's right. Bro, I take offense at the word chicken, meaning cowardly.
Chickens are pretty cool.
Roosters and hens are both chickens. And roosters have more tenacity and bravery than I think on average a human does, a human male. Seriously.
You're right.
Roosters are well known to run full speed into their own death to save their ladies. Yep. They're also known to take from their ladies whenever they want. So humans kind of don't do that anymore. Yeah. But the roosters, we've told the story. Our rooster, Roberto, who's still around even though his son has passed, he's King Regent. We had a video of a hawk diving at our hens, and he alerted the hens, ran to the door. So there was an enclosed coop with a little door and then an open area in the garden. He led them all to the door and then stood outside of it as they all ran inside and then went in last. We were like, that's a man.
Real man.
That's a real man. And then there's that famous meme where someone posted a picture of their rooster who died fighting off like a raccoon or something. And they were like, came out this morning and saw, he had been torn up, or he was fighting with like a raccoon or something, saved his hens, but sacrificed himself. That's roosters, man. That's roosters.
Died with honor.
And these urban folk are like, you're a chicken. Nope. Nope. Think about this. Hens just have a dozen babies. They just have babies like crazy. And the roosters sacrifice themselves to save who they care about. That's noble.
It's pretty based, honestly. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Thinker for Life says this SNAP cutoff situation is actually an opportunity. Let's have a MAGA food drive for those who really need it. Then will Dem still hate the MAGA guy who never took a handout and built his way? I'd imagine they would. All right. Lan Zen says Tim has gone full Ayn Rand this episode, and I'm for it. No, I got to be honest. I'm in favor of these systems. The problem is this air conditioner won't turn on. There we go. The problem is that over a long enough period of time, if you don't properly manage these systems, they become corrupt.
Yeah.
So I'm in favor of programs where the community comes together and builds roads and has museums and offers people care. It's like, oh no, you lost your job and you're a hardworking guy. Okay, we're going to give you benefits, but you got to work. How about this? How about we replace all welfare benefits with you got to go clean up highways. If you want money, you work. So when you're like, I'm out of job and I have no food. Okay, well, we have some administrative data entry that needs to be done. Problem solved. Yep. Problem solved. Here we go. To all these like single moms, and they're going like, I can't work. I have kids to raise. No, hold on, don't worry. Computer data entry job. All you got is like enter spreadsheets. The work has got to get done. Someone's got to do it. You're going to get paid to do it.
Well, I would say that one goal that the system should really have is making sure that it doesn't need to exist, right? Like, how do we get you off of food stamps as quickly as possible? Obviously, there's some people, again, the disabled, et cetera, that can't be a reality for them. But ideally, it should be a system set up to get you off of food stamps, get you into a position where you're employable.
Totally agree.
Indeed.
That's far from what we have.
No, it's very far from what we have because, listen, you can get a permanent voting block. The more people are on food stamps, they're going to vote for the people who aren't going to cut their benefits generally, right? Exactly. And it's unfortunate because we were talking about this earlier. What happens if you follow the principle of subsidiarity, things are handled by local authorities, and a community is taking care of the poor people in the community, is a bond forms between the impoverished person and the people helping them. There's gratitude there. Not always. Poor people are people, right? And nobody's perfect. But it's better than a system where you're just taking from it and then a sense of entitlement ends up getting built. I'm telling you, I mentioned this earlier. I've known a number of people who are on welfare receiving food stamps. Different people have different attitudes about it. Some of them, again, that person totally needed it. This person here was totally entitled and didn't need it, most likely. So if that's done at the community level, those judgment calls can be made by the community.
Counties and communities used to have things called poor farms. They used to exist. For able-bodied people who didn't have economic means, you would go to the poor farm, and you basically that's how you would take care of yourself.
Yeah, One-Eyed Wednesday says everyone is wrong except Tim. The people who really need assistance will be helping by their friends and neighbors. The ones that are abusing the system will dip into their drug money.
Interesting.
You know that people sell these benefits.
Yep. Yes, they do.
This is why I'm just like I'm done. We can't keep this up. We don't allow 80-90% of the people to steal from our pocket because 10% are suffering. It just, oh no, the child is crying. Quick, burn the Constitution. That's the argument. Oh no, but there's this man over here. He really needs the food. Quick, steal the money from the masses and give it to drug dealers. I'm done. If you're gonna make the argument that the child who was trafficked to this country, and the meme is, oh no, she's crying. Quick, burn the Constitution. The point of that is simply because the child is suffering doesn't mean we shut down our systems of laws. Simply because some people actually need help doesn't mean we're going to maintain and keep paying out 42 million people from everyone else's paychecks and everyone else's pocket. I agree the appropriate way is not just to cold turkey turn it off, but I don't know that there's actually any way ever to do it otherwise. Just impossible.
You're right. Tim, I'm going to run out right now. Thank you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun. Bricksuit, great seeing you again.
Always great seeing you.
You guys can catch me on Inverted World Live at 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about the dystopia. And we take callers. So anyone can call in. We start around 10:30 till midnight. You can tell us a strange story. Talk about pterodactyls or robots or...
Anyone can call.
Yeah. Mutants, werewolves.
And so what happens is everybody watching IRL when we wrap...
Yep.
Just like a TV station, it auto plays Inverted World. So if you're hanging out, when IRL ends on YouTube, if you don't come watch the uncensored show on Rumble, you will join Shane and you can call in.
Yep. Thank you for that. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
Maybe A1 Atlas will call in.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'll let you know, dude.
All right.
It's the aliens. All right. Rocket Theology says SNAP ending is a preview of the coming Social Security Medicare collapse.
Yeah, very true.
Princess Blunderpants says, we're due for early 2000s Napster culture to transgress to new medias. Who is authentic and hasn't sold out?
Yeah, something interesting I wanted to say when we were talking about dead internet theory, this point's been made by a few guys online, is that a lot of these older websites are just cleaning out the data because it costs a lot of money to store this data. So we grew up saying everything on the internet is permanent, nothing goes away. But it's actually not the case. Like these companies, and now you're seeing bigger companies like Google, Facebook, etc., saying like, hey, we're going to have to expunge the data stores at some point, and they're going to clean out a lot of this data. So we could get to a point where stuff that's posted online actually only stays up. Like you see people all the time saying, does anyone have this old forum post or this old photo or this old video? And it's just lost forever because where it was stored got cleaned out. So
there used to be utility to that when all the data was created by people.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so you were actually archiving something that was human created. Yeah. But as more and more of content online is artificially created, what's the utility of keeping that around?
Yeah.
There's less.
Especially because that's why the LLMs are getting worse, because now the data that they're being fed is from other AIs. And so as we continue to expunge data, that whatever data left that was created by human beings, yeah, we're just going to get in this cycle where it's just AI feeding itself its own data, and everything's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
Like we showed that from Multiplicity with Michael Keaton, where he clones himself, and then he comes home one day, and there's another clone, but it's retarded. And they're like, you make a copy of a copy, and it's not as good. That's basically what happened.
Yeah.
All right, Brian says, you need to check Ian Carroll's video from Monday about Kirk. He found Google searches from long before the assassination, like July, August, connected to the shooting and planning of it. It's scary. I will check it out. To be fair, Ian did claim once that I was trying to buy the Daily Wire, which is not correct, but we all make mistakes, so I'll look into it. Let's see what else we got going on. We'll grab some more. Let's see. General Kale says, I've never seen a skinny person use an EBT card. Interesting point. I did receive EBT benefits one time. I had, when I moved to Seattle and I was trying to find a job, it was not so easy, and I wasn't able to find one right away. And so I had a bunch of people say, like, go to, what was it, like DSHS or Department of Health, DHS or something like that. And I said, sure, went. And they said they'd give me $140 a month until I found a job. And then I did, and I got off it. And that's why I'm in favor of these things. I moved there with money, thought I had enough, found some unforeseen circumstances, ran out of money, and then said, crap, what do I do? And I got it for, I think, like 2 months. And about a month and a half in, got a job, and then said thank you, and I don't need it anymore. So I'm a fan. I just think there's legitimate use cases. I'm not even going to argue that mine was perfectly legitimate and that I chose to move to a place and should have foreseen the potential pitfalls of moving to said place.
Yeah, but you weren't abusing it.
No,
you weren't abusing. You didn't go into it with bad intentions of like, I'm going to defraud the government to get these benefits.
Right. I think I was like 21, and I burned up my savings, and then I eventually got a job at a Pete's Coffee and Tea. And then I was like, there we go. Didn't need it anymore. Didn't want it. And for me, like, I was embarrassed to say that I was getting it. And then all these people around me being like, dude, you pay taxes for this stuff. You can't, like, you're looking for work. Take it. I said, sure. I think it was like $137 a month. And you can only buy cold groceries with it. And so I'd buy like milk, bread, and eggs and stuff. And then I got a job at a Pete's, and I was like, let's roll. That's why I'm a fan of these things. I've also collected unemployment before, and I got fired from a job.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what do? I was fired. It was not my fault. Applied for unemployment. And I was like, this is fantastic. And it only paid me like, I think it was like $200 a month. It barely did anything for me. But when I got unemployment, I also was not getting food stamps. I got fired from my job, got unemployment, and I was able to sleep on a floor for $150 and then use the $50. This is a long story. It's crazy. I was in a lawsuit with a company. Whole crazy thing happened. And so I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the corruption.
Part of the problem was, the mentality around handouts changed, where it used to be quite shameful, embarrassing, et cetera, and now like people boasted about it. Like you saw during COVID, so many TikToks of like, here's the best way to scam your fellow Americans out of their money. And it was just like totally absurd. And that's another thing is like, these people aren't dumb, because like some of the ways that they are able to scam these welfare systems, I'm sitting there watching like, that's actually genius. It's a genius way to scam. So I'm like, it's not a shortage of intellect that people are, robbing and off the teeth of the government.
I think it's very instructive, because what often happens is people will have a mental model for how the world works, which is based on some traditional understanding, because they've had to live the traditional understanding of things out to some degree. So again, historically, if you went broke, you relied on your community, you relied on your family, you relied on your friends. So when we first started these welfare programs on a larger scale, people still had the mentality of, I got to be grateful to this. And to be sure, some still do today. But the more we move away from that point in history where people were directly relying on their community, the harder it is for people to mentally model, like, oh, somebody in my community is doing without so that I can have this.
Yeah.
Indeed. Sean H. says, as someone who worked for SNAP, I can tell you that certain states have emergency funds in their budgets, mostly in Republican states like Virginia, but places like Maryland, their states are bankrupt thanks to DEI funding. And because money is fungible, the concern is the feds will send money to the states for these benefits. So let's say California's got $1 million, and they go, crap, we have to use this $1 million for welfare benefits, otherwise people will revolt. They then say, hey, Fed, we're broke, we need money. The Fed says, okay, we're going to send you $1 million. The state then goes, that $1 million we'll take and give for benefits, and the $1 million we were going to spend, we'll take and spend on illegal immigrants or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, exactly. This is one of those tricky things Planned Parenthood used to do, where they'd go like, oh, we don't spend any of the federal funding we get on abortion. It's like the federal funds free up your resources, so you're able to do horrible things like that.
Yeah.
And they did horrible things.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Without question. I mean, their whole model is killing babies.
Mm-hmm.
Tex Ray says, Tim Burchett, the congressman from Tennessee, makes skateboards from bamboo. Y'all should collab. Actually, we wanted to do a Riley Moore and Tim Burchett congressional team series. So I don't know what the rules are because they're members of Congress. I think as long as they don't get anything from it, so that like we can just make a Riley Moore congressional pro model and a Tim Burchett pro model. Riley Moore actually, I would estimate that as a young man, he was probably a top tier skateboarder. Now he's in his 40s and he's a dad and member of Congress. He still skates. He did a kickflip on the bank here. Probably the only member of Congress who can do a kickflip.
He should run on that.
Yeah.
He's so humble about it. Because remember, Oron was like, he skates.
Remember Beto? Beto's a poser.
Yes.
That's right. Oh, how can I forget Beto?
So when I watched Beto ride the board, he clearly, guys, okay, real skateboarders know when you can tell someone's level of skateboard skill by how they carry themselves when they're riding or holding the board. It really is just that obvious. And when Beto jumped on the board, every skateboarder in the world were like, that guy can't skate.
Well, you got to remember, like with skating, you can be really good when you're young, but if you're a woman, it just gets harder as you get older. That was an attack on Beto O'Rourke's masculinity.
Oh,
yeah,
you're calling him a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were going to keep going. I was like,
no, that was it.
All right, let's see what else we got. Nathan O'Connell says supplemental nutrition assistance program. Anyone overweight should immediately lose their benefits, and those continuing to receive those funds should be for uncooked meats, fruits, and vegetables. Agreed. I'm not kidding. You want free stuff. Okay, I'm going to say it again. I received EBT when I lived in Seattle, and I received unemployment when I lived in Chicago. And if they said you can't be overweight, I'd be like, okay. Somebody who shows up and they're morbidly obese, and it's like, I need food money. It's like, do you? Yeah. No, because what people need to understand, what's really kind of crazy about being overweight is that you have to continually eat to maintain the fat.
That weight, that's right. Yeah.
If you are fat, let's say you're the fat itself has a caloric requirement.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's say you're 100 pounds overweight because you eat too much. If you then go back to eating a normal amount, the fat will just burn off and slowly be consumed because it can't sustain itself. So this is the crazy thing. When you see someone morbidly obese, it means that they're eating in excess to maintain the excess of their bodies. They could literally just go back to eating a normal meal and they drop a mass amount of weight.
Well, and this is another huge part of this concern with SNAP being used to purchase processed junk foods is that we end up spending countless millions, hundreds of millions on healthcare benefits for people who can't take care of themselves.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's insanely expensive. So we spend welfare money feeding people poison, and then they end up being a burden on our healthcare system. And not only do we spend money on that, but it actually drives healthcare costs up for everyone else because the system can only ration with the price point.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Educated Hillbilly says SNAP should be distributed like the ration stamps during World War II. It should make folks think about their choices, their budgets, and whether you want the government telling you what you can buy. I got a better idea. No more EBT. Gone. Permanently. Across the board. Look, at the federal level, what they can do. The states do their own thing, but replace the program with stores instead will have a certain individuals will be able to pick up a bag. And when you go to the store and you're receiving food benefits, it is a quart of milk, a loaf of bread, some eggs and butter, and maybe some flour and salt. And they say,
you gotta get the brick of cheese in there. The 5-pound block of cheese, you gotta be in that.
Those were the days, man.
Yeah.
The government cheese.
Yeah, gotta have that.
The government literally sent people cheese.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, they used to when they would when welfare first.
Proper country.
I just like that it's a brick of cheese.
That's right.
I mean, I'm in favor of bricks.
Government cheese, baby.
That was when welfare was first introduced. Is they would literally just put a crate on your porch that just said 8 on it, and it created this huge shame. There was a lot of shame of your neighbors would see just a crate that said 8 on it. Oh wow, the Johnsons aren't doing so well.
When I lived in Seattle, there was a food bank in my neighborhood, and the way it worked is you'd go in and they'd have a bag, a brown paper bag, and they would put a can of beans, a small little thing of flour, a loaf of bread, and some milk, and that was it. They also had.
They assumed you could cook.
Yeah,
people wouldn't know what to do with
No. I think their attitude is largely eat what you can eat.
Flour. What do you do with that?
Yeah.
But they actually had. This was the Ballard Food Bank. I think it was at the library. Actually, they had at any point you could walk in and there was a whole shelf of bread. You could just walk up and grab a loaf and walk out. And it's because their attitude was they're bakeries. That when the day-old bread gets tossed, they put it in the food bank for an extra day or two to see if it's better than going to a landfill.
Yep.
And people seem to be generally okay with it.
Yeah.
The issue, however, I'll tell you this, because I knew some people in Seattle. They had a calendar of all the food banks of what days.
Yeah.
And they would just go to every different food bank every day and stock up their refrigerators and everything. And my attitude with that is the food was always near expiration and donated. So I don't really have a problem with it. Yeah. The food banks collected food and then gave it out to people who wanted it. And it seemed to work for them instead of just throwing it out. In Chicago, they get a lot of the hippies are pissed because there will be a bakery and they'll throw away all their breads at the end of the day and then padlock the dumpster to make sure nobody eats it. Mm-hmm. And it's just I understand the capitalistic need to be you can't have free stuff, but come on, man. I remember when I was 16, me and my friends went to a Burger King, and it was just at 11 or whatever, breakfast was ending, and we walked in, and we were you still have breakfast? And the guy was nah. You can have it all. And then he had like a bunch of sandwiches. He's like, there you go. It's garbage. And we were like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's when I lived in Manhattan, like I was not making Manhattan money. So there was this app. They need to pay us to plug it. But it would basically all these restaurants, like at the end of the day, the food they just had to offload. They would list it on this app and just be a bag of like random stuff. And that's how I like was able to eat.
Wow.
Because it would be like $5 and then you get a bag and that's like 2 or 3 days worth of food. And then in the process, you try a restaurant that would be out of your price point. And that. And then, in college, the Burger King on campus, like I would go right before closing and I would just order a fry and then they would just fill the bag up with all the fries. And then I'd take it back and I'd be like, guys, I got us. I'm feeding us all tonight. And
That's awesome.
Like 1,000 calories worth of fries.
When I first moved to Seattle, my brother and I had a big thing of change. And we went to a gas station and I was like, they had breakfast sandwiches for like $1.29. And so I was like, I'm really sorry about this, but I got a bunch of nickels, pennies, and dimes. And I started counting them out. And I was like, and the guy was like, oh, bro, breakfast is over. We're going to toss them. Just take the sandwiches. I don't want the change. And I was like, let's get it.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
David Cassidy says, hopefully you've seen this series, but Farscape had an episode that the biggest industry was lawyers. Life there was over political and law was the weapon. There's also a movie with James Marsden, I think, is in it, and a bunch of celebrities. Do you know which one this movie I'm talking about? Where it's like the guy goes on the road trip. What's that movie? Anyone know what I'm talking about?
The guy goes on a road trip and it's a bunch of celebrities. Is that the one where they're smuggling drugs?
No. It was maybe the guy who did Back to the Future, but he finds himself in a town where everyone's lawyers and they're all suing each other. Interstate 60, that's what it's called.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, Gary Oldman's in it. And it's about, what is it? That Gary Oldman plays a genie or something. What is this? Genre road trip.
I have honestly never heard of this film.
Yeah, Gary Oldman, he plays a fake folk genie who is the devil, I guess, or something. Made by the same guy who made Back to the Future. And what is it? O.W. Grant. Yeah, One Wish Grant. Yeah, very clever. And then he tricks people. And so it's like, the movie's really goofy. It's like a cult classic now because no one ever actually liked it. But there's like a scene where this old guy eats like 13 entrees. And it's because he wished he could eat more because he loved trying all the different food. And so the evil genie guy made it so that he has to eat nonstop forever.
Oh, no.
It's a weird movie. Anyway, guys, we're going to go to the uncensored portion of the show at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. So smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Make sure you go to boonieshq.com. Pick up your the Jason Ellis board. I think there's like 10 left, if like less than that. Cody Max. The limited edition boards are selling out super quick. It's really amazing. Check it out. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. And Brixie, you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, the only shout out I've got is if you're in California or Pennsylvania or Virginia or New Jersey, get out and vote. Don't sit on your butt. Get out and vote.
That's right. Yeah. You can follow me on X and Instagram at RealTateBrown. And yes, go vote. Especially New Jersey. It's razor tight. Get out there. Let's go.
I'm Seamus Coughlin. I'm the creator of Freedom Tunes. We've made hundreds of animated videos. The left owns entertainment. A lot of the stuff the right is trying to make is really cheesy and not very good, unfortunately. That's why myself and my team, with a proven track record of making entertaining content, are stepping out into making a full-length animated show. It's called Twisted Plots. It's an anthology series, and the right-wing message comes out through storytelling and jokes instead of ham-fisted monologues or preaching. If you want to help us beat Hollywood, we've only got 3 weeks left to get this totally funded. If you want to help us compete against Hollywood, go to twistedplots.com. Support the cause. We're going to make entertaining content. It's going to be the future of conservative content.
And if you would see, as
I see, as Tim says.
So anyway,
plots.com.
Last Friday we did a pre-record. We pre-recorded the show a few hours early and then aired it at the normal time, and it actually worked ridiculously well. It allowed us to do this VIP backstage for the Discord community. So we had about 110 people listening to the whole pre-production process where we're goofing off and pulling up stories, and then the full show. So it actually turns it into basically a 3-hour version of the show for our Discord members. And it worked so well. We're going to try it again this Friday and see if it is something that works for you guys. Here's the thing about Fridays. News typically dies off in the afternoon, and then when we do the show late at night live, The thing about Friday is that around half the people who watch the Friday episodes are watching Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and Monday morning because it's Friday night. Everyone wants to go out and party. So for us, we were like, it makes more sense than to pre-record when the news is hot, upload at the normal time, but people largely just watch over the weekend as it is for Fridays. So it frees up time for us, a 0.01% security benefit, but not super, beneficial. But that's what we're going to try this Friday as well, which means if you go to timcast.com, click join us, get in the Discord server. Friday at around 1 o'clock, we go live for the Discord members behind the scenes, backstage for the pre-production of Timcast IRL. Hear us talk to our guests, goofing off, picking stories. And then when we go to Super Chats for Friday, it's actually your comments from the Discord community. So check it out. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And we'll see you all over at rumble.com/TimcastIRL.